There! Hi! Welcome to another episode of Logical Optimism, now featuring Nugiyen and Steelmage. Now without numbers again, so it's just Steelmage now. Some people are still confused that you've changed your name.
What do you mean, dude? That was the fake Steelmage 202. What do you mean?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Took him out, dude.
Monkatos.
Talk to my council member friend, dude.
Monkatos.
Whoa.
Today we are going to talk about 3.11 Harvest patch notes, and then some starter guides, and then there is an event on, which is really, really cool. And usually these last around 2 hours, so I'm excited. Nugi,
I'm blasting.
how are you?
Your event lasted more than 2 hours.
Yeah, we can do longer. Yeah, sure, 2 to 3 hours, generally. But yeah, let's just like from everyone have like Nugi, what were your like before we like go into the details? Are you happy? Like what was your?
I'm confused. I'm happy and confused at the same time, and also a little bit mad. There's many emotions. I have a lot of emotions.
Also, turn up your volume a little bit. You're a little bit quiet.
My volume.
It's just because Steelmage is so loud.
Okay. This is no surprise to anyone.
No, none.
Wait, input volume is literally at max.
Okay, then Steel, lower down a little bit.
Get angry, dude.
No, Steel, don't shout. A little bit loud.
Can't you like increase me, maybe?
I mean, there's a slider. Hello?
Yeah, but I can't do that while I'm full screen.
Oh.
Just shout, Noogie. Get angry. Read the patch notes again.
I mean, I am going to Warcry, so.
Okay, hold on. 1 sec. Switching. This hopefully doesn't break anything. Putting Nugi.
Fine.
There.
I think.
Hello? Okay, I'm gonna move the microphone a little closer then. Hello.
Oh, no. I already turned you up.
Okay, I'm moving it away again.
Right. Oh. Let's see. There. Perfect.
Did you find your voices, Noogie? You good?
My voices? I broke my arm before voices dropped. Pepper hands.
Oh, yeah.
Pepper hands.
Okay, Nugi's so loud now.
What?
Just move it a little bit away.
Calm down, Noogie.
This is perfect. Wait. I'm just talking normally now. Hello?
I'll turn it down a little bit.
Wait, I can turn myself down.
No. Don't touch anything.
Okay. I won't touch anything.
There. Are we good now? Are we good? Perfect?
Oh, there was things on the screen for a split second. It's all ruined.
What?
It's over.
It's over?
I think it's fine. Are we fine? Is it good? Hello, 1, 2, 3. I am talking.
Okay, everyone's saying it's perfect. Let's go with this. We'll go with this.
Okay,
this is a very scuffed start.
Yep.
Oh, you're just stalling, dude. I do it all the time.
Right. First impressions, Nugi.
I mean, how in depth are we going here? I mean, just general emotionally, first impressions is.
Are you on overall happy or sad with the patch notes? What would you rate it out of 10?
Overall happy. Yes. Overall happy. Good things are happening to two-hander. Good things are happening to some items. Yeah, I'm happy overall, but also confused.
So. I mean, my build didn't get nerfed. So everyone else, who cares?
This is why you're toxic, dude.
I mean, I dodged so fucking well, though, dude. What do you mean? I'm Cav Dodge. You can't touch me.
So you're happy with the patch notes?
Yeah. What do you mean?
That's fair.
You don't have to practice a new build. Easy.
Yeah. So I'm not happy with the patch notes. Like, there's a lot of cool things and a lot of good things, but especially like the more I think about it, like what's happened to two-handers and Warcries is kind of, in my opinion, unacceptable. But I'm like a 5 or 6 out of 10, just because there is so many cool things And like, I love playing Volatile Dead Spellslinger. That was my starter last league, and it's so strong. I don't have a problem with playing that again, but it's also kind of crazy in my opinion. But yeah.
Can I guess?
What?
One of your main things why you're unhappy is that Berserker. Is that the Berserker change?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. That's a great first topic for the patch notes. So
yeah, I wasn't happy about that either.
Berserker, I feel, has lost a lot of its identity. And I think it's a bit strange because before I felt like Berserker had such a strong, like, ooh, this is the Warcry ascendancy. And I kind of feel like that was ripped apart because now it just has the damage bonus. And now I feel like it's more the glass cannon identity where it has a lot of damage, but the huge quality of life that it had before with the cooldown recovery, making them last longer, and the life and mana recovery was just one of the coolest ascendancies, in my opinion, in the game.
Yeah, like I'll never forget Ziggy's clip of him just spamming it repeatedly while in lab to recover his life. Right, it was really strong, but I don't think that's ruined its identity. It's just it was kind of well rounded, especially for hardcore, because you had that utility node. Now it's all damage. I think it's still a Warcry notable. It's still a Warcry key ascendancy, right? Because it's exerted attacks, so it's not bad, but it's less well rounded, which I don't like.
And on top of how I feel about the other stuff, I feel like that one ascendancy now that gives like the rage per attack is now a little bit weird and weak. That's compared to most other ascendancies. That's like, oh sweet, you get one rage when you attack.
That ascendancy has been weak since Delirium. I mean, it never really even was that great. It felt like more of a necessity to lead into the bigger thing about Berserker, which was the Rite of Ruin, like the tripling of the
and
rage.
That one's nice. That one's great.
Yes. So it's more like a lead into that. I mean, it's been weak for like forever. It's just like now it just feels even, especially coming off of last league where we had such easy access to rage. It just kind of like makes you see how weak it actually is.
Did you see what they did to rage on the tree though with berserking, and it was actually on a few other nodes too. I think Hatchet Master. Did you guys see that?
I didn't see what happened to Hatchet Master.
It's same thing as berserking pretty much.
Yeah.
I really like Berserker, like the Berserking or whatever, the smaller node. It's like 10 max rage or something.
Yeah, and rage degen slower or something. So it's good for things like berserk.
Yeah,
that's kind of neat.
And I was extra excited because I didn't think they had shafted the cluster jewels for Warcries as much as they did. Some of them were like definitely too strong because I felt like if the Harbinger stuff, the Herald stuff hadn't been in the last league, I think Warcries would have been by far the strongest thing, especially for softcore. But I don't know. I feel like they gutted them. And now it's like a massive imbalance on the cluster jewels if you compare like most of the elemental or spell cluster jewels, compare them to like the melee and Warcry clusters. It's like okay, disorienting display is left at full effect, but okay.
Yeah, the cluster jewel change is wild. Like lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of nerfs. It's crazy actually. I'm not surprised, but yeah, still. It's funny to read through the list, right?
It's going to be hard to make a good build. Like, it's going to be hard having it's going to be hard making an early setup with cluster jewels that feel good. Yeah. Because some of the more powerful nodes will be harder to craft. It's going to be harder to get the 2-socket thing. And they're going to be nerfed across the board, pretty much.
Yeah, I wouldn't underestimate how hard it's going to be to recraft them too, right? Like, that's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
If it's anything like the Abyssal change. Like I never see T1 life anymore on that.
That's true. So like, yeah, definitely like several things happening at the same time. I feel like it's always the biggest problem when Path of Exile does nerfs. Like there are some things that they do well, but I feel like they only do nerfs well when they're nerfing one thing at a time. Every single time they nerf multiple things, they go way overboard. Like look at the energy shield nerf. It's like, oh, we're removing energy shield from nerf, removing energy shield from the tree, and removing energy shield from every gear piece. Like that was like a year ago, but it was Yeah,
this is what I like to say. Like they never got rid of double dipping. It's still in the patch nets, right?
Wait, what double dipping?
they double down on nerfs, right? They don't nerf. It's like if you had 3 guys nerfing one thing, and then there's 3 separate nerfs, and then they just put them all in.
I mean, let's be real. Like the ES nerfs are completely warranted, though. A year ago,
they always go a bit overboard, though. There was one patch of very few people
with ES.
Okay,
I
so
don't
there
think
was
they
one
always do.
that one thing that happened. There was only very experienced players that played it. It was actually a pretty decent, like maybe like 10 to 25% of players played Energy Shield on like level 80 or 90 before, and then it turned out to be like very few 2 patches after.
I mean, on that note, they didn't nerf things like Fettle, right? Which is nice.
Yeah,
like, that's a good thing. So
yeah,
we can still scale our life this patch, which is good because they got rid of damage reduction from everywhere. That's big.
Yeah, damage reduction from Soul of Steel is gone. Steel got nerfed.
I think we need to be careful without conflating like power of like the size of the nerf with community reaction, because I think the community overreacts as much as GGG just in terms of, so Granny Games will nerf something and we might think it's a little bit too much, and then the whole community will entirely overreact and just say it's completely dead and not played, even though it's completely playable and actually very strong.
Of course.
Which was the whole case with the
that happens a lot. Yeah, that happens a lot with a lot of things. Like something will be nerfed 5%. We saw that already in Delirium with the Herald build being nerfed mid-league, and loads of people were like, talking about how Heralds were completely dead, and it was obviously completely fine. So yeah, a lot of people overreact, 100%. But I feel a lot of it in like comparison to other things, it's a little bit weird and odd for me, because so especially now with like the Berserker Warcry changes and also all the two-hander changes, if they hadn't removed all like the extra damage on two-handers, on the uniques, on the base types, like all the things that they rebalanced and lowered, while also sure they made things higher, they would have like that still wouldn't have been the most overpowered things this league. And having those things be extra strong or strong for one league is completely fine. Even
but the new node is strong. And the new node on Berserker is strong. And the old node was borderline stupid because of how spammy the Warcries were. And also the having to balance around the cooldown recovery and everything being, you might be forced to literally be forced into only that ascendancy. It becomes, I would think it would become very, very difficult for them to make sure that you could have Warcries be balanced across all ascendancies while still having that node there.
Right. Yeah, no, but I mean, if you're not like, okay, so if you're taking an ascendancy, that is a big choice, right? That is supposed to be insanely impactful. So that's why I thought it was very fine to have it be that strong for Warcries. If you then want to use Warcries, if you then wanted to use Warcries on Duelist or Templar or anything that is like maybe close to the Marauder, you should have to invest quite a lot of points to get near the same level. So like you said, it shouldn't necessarily feel mandatory, but both options should be very strong. But an ascendancy point just to increase Warcries, that is a big investment.
Well, it is 50% more damage with exerted attacks. The problem is we don't know how good exerted attacks are going to be, right? Because that's a whole new thing. So it's a bit of an experiment. It's got potential, but
I mean, let's assume that the whole archetype. I mean, if it's supposed to be, if it works on anything other than, like, say, Berserker, let's say that you can actually use it, and everyone, like all the different ascendancies, like Chieftain, Jog, Berserker, whatever. Let's like assume that they can all make a good build around it. Adding 50% more damage if you are largely invested into exerts seem pretty strong. If that leap would be okay to make, which I think it is.
I also feel like there are some like anti-synergies now with that node and removing the rage, because before seeing all the patch notes and when they just had the Berserker node posted, I was actually like, well, okay, this might not be that bad, because there's so many cool ways to get rage and sustain rage and stay higher rage. But now, while warcrying and sacrificing your rage, it's gonna be pretty hard to stay capped out or like a decent amount of rage.
I agree with that. So I think there is I think the Berserker Ascendancy is a complete mess. Like as a single Ascendancy key, right? Being Jet, I think that one is fine. But overall, when I look at Berserker and I'm trying to put it together, it's a mess.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, it seems like the entire Ascendancy now doesn't seem that well thought out. And like you have the crit nodes, which the crit nodes are really strong, but on top of everything, they have nerfed crit as well. So there's a lot of weird stuff there.
I think you're gonna find that a lot of people will do because I've been looking at the Ascendancy like all day because I really wanted to play it and I really like the idea because I'm a big fan of the ping pong rage style. So I like Berserker being a lot about rage, right? You can go Rite of Ruin or you can go ping pong, but it's more when you start to combine these things with all the anti-synergy that it gets weird. But Warbringer with Flawless Savagery, like you could go Pain Reaver, I guess, and Aspect of Carnage. That seems pretty good. That's tons of damage. You get Leech, but this was then be for like more of a crit setup.
Yeah.
Which is a lot hard, and I think it becomes a very difficult Ascendancy to lean into with like the recent crit nerfs, and with investing into Warcries is very point heavy already.
Yeah, I'm curious how that's gonna go, the Warcry builds, because they look really powerful, but I can't imagine, especially if they're not instant, because you only have one instant Warcry, right? Otherwise, you've got to recast 1, 2, 3, multiple Warcries. It sounds like a nightmare.
I think what I would want them to do, and at least test out for a league, would be literally remove Pain Reaver and give us the old Warcry node there instead. Then you have 2 Warcry Ascendancy nodes on Berserker, and you have the option, maybe like water it down a little bit. You don't have to have it at full power.
Okay.
And you can change it a little bit, but I feel like either taking something like the cooldown recovery or taking the mana and life recovery on Warcry, both of those were like feeling really good for different reasons. So I think there's something you could take from that node, and I think to replace Pain Reaver, it would make a lot of sense to have like the life and mana recovery.
Yeah. So swap some of that over to Pain Reaver and then get rid of that thing. I like that idea. Pain Reaver seems. I've rarely seen anyone take it. I mean, it's more of a kind of like
while
leveling,
life.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how I feel, because obviously things like this, like they can end up being good, and like you said, like it's very, very easy to overreact, but it just feels very anti-synergistic, which is what I don't like.
Yes. No, I am 100% with you there. I ranted a lot today about the anti-synergy, trying to put together something within the Ascendancy that felt like you created something nice. Whenever you take Warbringer and something else, you feel like you're shooting yourself in the foot. Mm-hmm. You take it with Rite of Ruin, it's like, oh, you're constantly going to go below the 25 rage and lose the stun and not having full rage. Or you go Warbringer and then you go up towards Blitz. If you take the full line, well, now you're like a Warcry build with like super attack speed. That doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah, 100%. Blitz is like crazy attack speed nodes. So yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I played Berserker like 3 times.
Yeah. I haven't actually played it that much. I actually had it last league as a boss killer. I did Berserker using Aspect of Carnage on Hardcore as my main boss killer, and it was great. Just face tanking, Awakener 8. Really, really strong.
Yeah, the Warcry build, right?
It was very clunky. It was very strong, but I feel like, okay, so there's a couple of things and why I feel like Melee didn't need like the I feel like they did like we're gonna buff it, but we're not gonna buff it that much. We want to keep it balanced. And the reason why I feel like it didn't need those like the holding back kind of thing and kind of feeling that they're giving at the moment was because, first of all, Warcries, especially using ever multiple, is super clunky. I was using both Enduring Cry and Rallying Cry, felt terrible felt really, really bad. It was especially when doing like extended hours. Like, and obviously this is going to determine or depend a lot on if you're a player that really likes like a sort of like a playstyle where you play multiple or use multiple buttons, right?
Yeah, well, that's what I was talking. That was my reaction as well to what they're doing with Melee. They want to push a very,
Active
very,
playstyle.
very active playstyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? Most people complain about pressing 5 buttons, flasks all at the same time.
Yep.
So I don't see this happening, boys.
Yeah.
I don't see people pressing
and that's the
1,
thing.
2, 3 war cries and then timing their exerts.
Yeah.
And then looking at cooldowns for things
So-
like Fist of War
And that's the exactly point I wanted to make, because when you have something that is that active, that inherently needs to be way stronger than something like, I'm playing my VD Spellslinger. Dude, I'm clearing a tier 16 right now on the screen in the corner there. I don't really need to look at the screen because I'm right-clicking, right? The active playstyle, whether it's Frostbolt and Vortex or anything where you need to have a more active playstyle, needs to be stronger inherently. You're already at a huge disadvantage in this game just for being melee. Like, being melee is a huge disadvantage. I can one-shot that thing over there from a half screen away, or I can stand next to it while trying to chase it while it's moving. Oh, now it teleported over there. Or I have like 5 other builds that can just stand still going like, woohoo, loot! Like, that's why it's so tilting to me. It's such a massive built-in disadvantage.
Some people are gonna like it, but I don't know, man.
Like,
I personally enjoy a very active playstyle. I was a huge fan when Legion came out and the whole swapping between stances and all that kind of thing.
And you should be rewarded for that.
And I was, but I also think it's a little bit disingenuous to say that if you're melee, that you're always like in the middle of everything. I mean, it's like,
sure.
There's plenty of options to have like almost like screen wide things. I took a look at one of the recent Mathel builds with like Vol Earthquake and stuff. I mean that you can get things to have a pretty screen wide effect.
Sure. No, I agree. Like, there's like definitely a lot of melee, but still, even for a lot of those skills, like I was playing Bladestorm on my Berserker, and that doesn't have a crazy AoE. The Awakener teleporting around, or the let's not even start about Awakener, but the Hunter. Oh my god! When he was going, "You can't catch me," I was like, "I want to quit." This is a horrible feeling.
I mean, then you get him in the middle again, and you're strong, right? Eventually, he'll go in the middle, and you just kill him there.
I can just play one of my other builds and like, oh, sweet loot. What's this? Everything in a game like this.
I mean, if it's just one boss where like that happens, that's not a big deal.
I agree it's not just one. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Just play Cyclone, lol.
It's like, this is a massive problem in the game. You can't just gloss over it. And that's why, since it has that inherent disadvantage, it needs to have other things that need to like pull it up and make it strong.
I'm not saying it doesn't need to have other things. I'm just saying that it's not as bad. Like, it's not as awful as you make it out to be. I'm serious. Yes, I agree. That fight is definitely very difficult. There's no doubt. It was difficult in Cremation as well, having to like reposition anything that's not permanent uptime damage. It's a super difficult fight. I mean, that's as much like boss design problems as it is like the specific skills.
So lastly, that's like my final thoughts that I would sum up all my thoughts on this with. Lastly, we had Heralds being like what, like, without even exaggerating, like Steel, how many % stronger than any other build would you say the Herald build was, League? Just as a example.
Cute Dog reckons Stormbrand Archmage was better, so I don't even know, dude. I don't even know. But for hardcore, it was like the god tier build, yeah. I mean,
right? Like, just magnitude stronger than anything else. Would it really be that much of a problem if for one League, 2-handers, and Warcry builds was really strong? Would that really be a massive problem? Is all I'm saying.
Well,
who's saying it's wait, but why are you saying you're like putting it out as if I'm saying that? Of course it's fine for them to be strong.
I'm not. That was just my ending statement on all my thoughts on all of it.
Okay.
Not directly to you.
That's fine.
The current theory going around is that this is a push towards the gameplay that they're going to have in PoE 2, right? That old meme of everything's going to be fixed in PoE 2, but it's kind of true because this active playstyle might be something that we'll all be doing eventually. So, and I do think I like that. As long as, like you said, Ziz, the problem isn't that the active playstyle exists and it's a thing. The problem is that you can play a lazy ass one slinger build and just pew pew with the 1/1, right? And just auto attack, right? So I think alone it's kind of weird, but maybe we're just not seeing the full picture.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that could definitely be part of the problem. I think the Twitch sound just happened, which I thought they had fixed.
The Twitch sound?
There's like
Did I do
there
that?
used to be no, it's not you. There used to be a bug where there would just be like a loud, like a screeching sound, and then they fixed it.
Did I kill everyone?
But now it seems to be back because everyone spammed Woodface. So that's weird. Okay, the only thing I could do to like fix that slightly, I can put on some very light background music. So we'll just put on the PoE OST in the background, and then I'll try to balance that. There, that should be really, really quiet, but it should also stop it from happening again. But yeah.
Well, rip everyone's ears.
Yep.
Just give them a minute. They're still ringing, I guess.
Yeah, no.
Right, but so what I was thinking,
Mm-hmm.
this is the dream scenario, right? I think this is what GGG are going for, and I hope it's true. Because just looking at the war cries and the strength and stuff, this is like the dream scenario. This is what GGG are planning. They want you to have a big dick crafted harvest two-hander, right? So they want you to craft some 1000 DPS harvest weapon, a rare. They don't want you to use uniques, obviously, looking at the patch notes. Uniques out. And then they want you to use the 100% double damn war cry. They want you to use berserk. That's why they're pushing the rage from berserking and all that kind of shit. They want you to walk up to that hunter boss and kill him before he moves. I think that's what they're going for.
Maybe. You could be right.
I think, you know.
And I think there were a lot of cool rebalances, and like you brought up all like the changes to like weapons and obviously uniques didn't get like the same amount of love. And I think what happened was that 4 different people got one type of weapon. So you got like John got swords, Mark got axes, Todd got staffs, and Todd, like everyone like comes in front of like Jonathan and Chris, and they're like presenting their changes, and then like Todd goes first, so he hasn't seen like what anyone else has done. He's like, yeah, these are the staff changes, and then he just like really fucking hates Dave's because what happened there, like staff compared to anything else, that is the light side like seems very, very insane imbalance there. All the staff implicits, they didn't have one cool one. What was it, like block has been increased from 18 to 20 and stuff like that, and then you see
20 spell block.
Yeah, okay, that one is nice, but that's one. Then you look at all the axe
that's only
ones.
3.
Okay, look at all the axe and staff ones. The staff ones like really, really cool, like up to like 20-30 AoE. The one of the axes have 20% bleed multiplier. Like I feel like a lot of the other ones have like really, really cool stuff, whereas Staves kind of got a little shafted. And,
Yeah, I mean,
somebody, oh sorry, one last thing. And somebody said when nerfing Starforge, they must have thought it was the staff.
Well, people seem pretty happy in my chat, at least, about the staff changes. But I think the reason why is because they barely touched them. So, you know, I think people kind of like that, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I didn't like change them a lot.
Like for me, they feel a little bit weak. Not that great. The spell block one definitely nice because obviously it's so easy to get attack block in Path of Exile. Yeah. And the spell block is harder, so that one's fine. But I wish there were like 1 or 2 other cooler or more build defining implicits. And I thought it's like, speaking about staves, like nerfing Disintegrator and nerfing Hegemony's Era seemed really, really weird, especially Disintegrator, because this has never been a popular unique to use. I've used it 3 times, and every time putting a large amount of currency into it, it still felt like insanely mediocre, where you were in that state where, you know, I could play any other build with the same investment, and it's gonna feel way better because you have like a massive downside, and it's not that to begin with.
Yeah, see, like when I see stuff like that, I want to believe GGG is just like giga big brain. They're 5-head, right? They've got something. Like, there's a reason, right? There's a Why did they nerf Disintegrator? Like, right? There's a reason, right? Right?
I think, well, okay, I actually had a 5-hit idea on that one. So what they're going to do is they're going to nerf all uniques. They're going to have powerful crafts this league. Next league, they're going to be like, shit, guys. Chris was right. This was insanely powerful. It's way too strong. And they're nerfing crafts way below what they even were before. And so now we're just left with uniques being the best again. But then they've decreased overall power. And that's the way to, kind of get around the, nerfing things, but without people realizing it's been nerfed. It's just like, oh, we just reverted the changes, and then we just forgot about the uniques in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just thinking like a league ahead, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
they are though, if you think about it, because the Chris on the Ziggy pod, the Ziggy thing.
Like,
they are thinking about next league.
That is definitely a valid point to bring up. Like, obviously, they always have the full picture, but aside from that as well, think about how large the game is. It's still like very hard to balance. Like, it's very easy for us to like criticize one thing and stuff at a time.
Oh. 1 sec.
All right, just me and you, Ziz. Let's go. All right. All right, we can talk about VD now. No.
Guys, you just keep talking. I'm still here.
We can talk about Volatile Dead now, okay?
Wait, so is Nugiyen not going to play an ice build this patch?
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think Nugi goes for the fruit on the high bit of the tree, right? You and me were just like, the easy fruit.
Yeah.
We'll pluck it.
100%. Well, I mean, for me, so I think the build I really want to play the most this league, and even like considered racing with, is Dominating Blow Guardian with Rallying Cry.
Did you see what they did though?
Yes, they removed the Herald of Purity thing, but I don't think that's really needed, because the Rallying Cry buff just looks insane now for Dominating Blow and also for Anime Weapon.
It does. Did you see what they did to Kingmaker though as well?
Oh,
no,
that was rough.
They nerfed Kingmaker too.
Yeah.
Dude.
What did they do?
Dude, all uniques has just been dumpstered. It's really sad.
What happened to Kingmaker?
They nerfed its damage, so if you're gonna dump blow with it, it'll be a little bit less good.
Right. Well, I would have used like a Scourge probably, or just like
they did buff Scourge. That's actually that's nice.
The one-hander is great.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. Like, it still gives you a lot of flat fist.
Yeah.
On the staff one, real quick. I mean, so they buffed all two-handers, right, by 15%. Yes.
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
Then they buffed their flat fizz and they increased block. And staff is about block. Right? There's tons of nodes with block, and there's more block, and then now spell block as well. I don't know. That seems pretty good. Why? I look at Morningstar and Solar Maul, like going from 4% increased area of effect to 15. I mean, do I really care? Would I not rather have 5% more block? Yes, I would. I don't know.
The AoE stuff on those is out of date. Like that was a long time overdue.
So I mean, I'm not. I don't know. I look at all the other ones. I don't get that excited. I feel like that. I feel like they treated all the bases pretty equally. And then Exquisite Blade was nerfed. But I think that's because they didn't want it to outshine the others.
To be insane. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Axes and Maces both look very much more exciting to me than Staves do right now, because I think especially attack block is incredibly easy to get in the game.
Dude, I think they have crit multi because Imperian was posting too many Watch His Eyes on Twitter or something.
Maybe
he runs those like double crit multi jewels with like 100 multi on them. So I don't know, man.
Maybe that's
it is actually in-game DPS scaling is actually pretty out of control at the top level. So
wait for what?
Everything really, anything with crit multi, like anything that hits like 600-700 multi.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I wasn't very surprised that crit got nerfed, because at the moment it felt like, if you really wanted solid DPS on a build, you kind of had to do, for most builds or a lot of builds, you had to go crit eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this might be a good way to like help bring it in line without just buffing non-crit, because that's always scary. Then you do end up with crazy power creep. So that's not necessarily like the crit nerfs. I don't mind so much, and I've done a lot of crit builds. So
yeah, I mean, there's also the optimistic side of it that it's not going to matter because crafting's going to be so ridiculous next league, right?
It's true. They just like put out a new keystone as well.
Oh,
Just now.
Just now. It is called the Traitor and gain 4 flask starters per
My keystone
per empty flask slot every 5 seconds.
huh.
Wonder if I can show it on screen here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, just delete us.
So that's an Americath one?
Oh god.
4 flasks.
Let's see.
I mean, that's not bad. Then
Let's
you get the
see.
Americath Timeless Duel as well, which has really good things on it.
It's like a Mimi thing, I think.
It doesn't seem like something I'd ever use.
I think so. There's right. Look,
Seems very
I was trying
inconsistent.
to like figure out what like Eternal Youth, right? In the next to the just below the life wheel. It can actually be pretty difficult finding a good keystone there because all the vault keystones messes up all the good nodes you have in the area. So having a keystone that's either what's the strength one or the dex one, and dex is like really good as well if you want to have dash. So I could definitely see if you have any like decent, timeless duel in that area, and you have some of the notables as well in that area, that you could take advantage of that pretty well. And then having the flash charges if you boss on the 2 like generally all the melee builds down here. They have quite a hard time maintaining flasks, especially like for bossing. You don't have any tools, and you don't really get any increased duration and stuff. So that could actually be pretty nice.
Dude, that's gonna be some Mimi keystone build. Like, it'll have its niche, but
I mean, it's more if you don't really have anything. Like, just imagine for the people who don't really have anything else, and they just have like a 1-point keystone. Could you use that thing, like the trader? I can see that. I mean, it might not be the most it might not be the most meta thing, but I mean, if you just
it's got its use. I mean, a lot of these keystones do. But yeah, it's a weird one, dude. That's a weird one.
I think it's a weird
one. At least
one.
I can tell people who don't want to like. So this is clearly a response to Reddit.
Oh really?
They should have just called this the Redditor. So, yeah, I mean, at least people don't have to press 5 flasks now, right?
Wait, could you have like a single? Oh, you could. I mean, it's just if you. Yeah, I guess I get. So anytime you have 1 flask, does all the other gain 4?
No, I don't think so.
Or is it just
no? I think it's
overall?
just 1. Yeah, I think it's just 4 overall. If it works the same as Pathfinder, then that's quite strong. Don't get me wrong. Like, Nature's Boon is powerful. It'll have its use. I just don't think it's going to be.
Oh no, it is per empty flask slot, not
OP,
per empty
we'll say.
flask. So
No,
you
I don't
actually
think it's
have
gonna
to
be
not have a flask there at all.
It could be like a. I think for the lazy gamer.
Whoops! I just realized I
Well, not
muted
just
my
the
mic on Discord. It's actually per empty flask slot, not per empty flask.
Yeah.
So the entire slot needs to be missing.
Oh, so you don't even have the flask in there.
Yeah. That's why people are saying Tide 23 and stuff, because he did that.
Ah.
Ahead of his time, man. He knew.
I mean, for bossing, it could be good. If it's like.
Oh, actually, no,
out.
that's a good point. For like serious and shit.
Yeah, I mean, I actually misread it. I thought it was per empty flask. But per empty flask slot, that actually makes it better. Yeah, definitely need for Sirius. Like, I usually barely ever use flasks on Sirius.
Yeah.
It can be pretty cool for bosses.
Yeah, it'll have its use. Yeah, want to talk about the VMS stuff?
I mean, I want to talk about everything.
So, for those of you who don't know what happened, Valmolten Shell went from, was it 80?
Yeah, 80.
It went from 80% damage taken from Valmolten Shell before being taken against your life or energy shield. And it is now at 30% of your damage. And it's also harder to, like, it's half the efficiency, right? Or something? With armor?
Yes. It's like Yes, I believe so. Let me find it. Wall Molten.
Oh yeah, it's 35% at level 20. At level 1, it's
Yeah.
30. So
Worth
35.
pointing out though, you didn't always use level 20 because of strength requirements.
True. True. Realistically, I'm probably still going to use it. As long as I have like 5 or 6k armor, or I'm able to use a granite on a build. Just because we don't have that many survival options on hardcore right now. It's actually quite hard to survive a lot of things.
I'm actually not going to use it, Ziz. I'm actually not going to use it because it screws up cast damage taking steel skin. And cast damage taking steel skin is 2k EHP when you need it the most. So I'd actually rather cast damage taken than VMS. I'm actually not going to run it.
Oh, when did you start running that? I ran that in what's it called? I ran that in like Metamorph.
For ages.
Yeah, it's really good.
Ages.
I like it.
I can see that. I really like that Valmont shell lasts so long. That's why I quite like it.
Yeah.
So I'll see how I feel, but I feel a little bit like I'd rather have an extended, like constant amount of damage reduction instead of, say, something like Legion, right? Where you get like through like loads of javelins at you, your steel skin goes off, but then they throw again and you die. Whereas with Valmont shell, you'd just be taking a constant amount of damage.
Yeah, so the problem with VMS right now, so VMS is it's a complex discussion actually, because previously it was an immortality button for like 15 seconds, right, with like max duration. Now it's kind of more like a beefed up fortify for that period of time. It's not so much immortality, it's just like damage reduction, well, damage absorbed for like 30% or something, right? It's not.
I feel a bit like it's more like just minor matter. It's just like enabling minor matter temporarily.
Yes. Which means, so a lot of people have been saying it's worse than the regular skill. And that's actually true if you look at the numbers and everything it is. But that duration is actually key, right?
Yeah,
reliability,
that's why I like it.
Yeah. It is a savage nerf though, absolutely. Like, holy shit.
I was expecting it to go down to like max 40 and like most likely 50 to 60. And then maybe going like, oh, you know, people are still using it too much. Like, how dare people want defense? But yeah.
I mean, yeah, for me, like the nail in the coffin. The reason I'm not going to use it on my first character, at least, is the fact that it is blocked by other guard skills. Because you used to be able to use steel skin or other guard skills on top of VMS. You can't do that anymore. So that's
you can still use it. Let's say that you have like, let's say you're like using molten shell. Then you can, like, just for general purpose, if that's on cooldown and you need it immediately, then you can always click Molten Shell. Like, it's always there, even though anything else is on cooldown, which is...
I think for, like, armor-based builds, which is melee, typically, but I think it'll be okay still. I don't think it's going to be bad. That being said, for other builds, I'm leaning towards Valgrish now.
Sure.
Yeah, especially if you're already combining it with block or dodge.
Especially with actually something really exciting, at least for me, because I'm a zoomer. That elusive on kill keystone, dude.
Yes, sure. That's very nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff too, for sure.
I think it's good that Vault Molten Shell is going out of the meta, or at least more. I think it was super intrusive to PoE as a game, honestly. I don't... Like, one of the reasons why Guardian, and why we keep telling people, like, why we as a hardcore community keep, like, yelling about, oh, nerf Guardian, why is Guardian not nerfed? It's because it has this like huge EHP that nothing else can get to. And then you get it on the click, and then all of a sudden it's okay. But I mean, it's...
So...
You end up at the same point in a lot of cases.
So here's why I disagree strongly. Because right now, especially in the first 2 weeks of the game, I have never seen a game this imbalanced and in sort of like a beta test for large hits and stuff at the start of the game. Every last 3 leagues have had an incredible amount of things that you have no way of defending against, or you just can't see that they're attacking you, that still hit for like 10 to 20,000 damage. Like, normally, what I expect in a game is that attacks that have like large wind-ups and then do like a huge slam, sure, from most other games, I have learned to like avoid those. However, in Path of Exile, like... Quick example, the big plasma ball in Delve that moves towards you slowly, 30 damage. Legion, a speck of sand going towards you, 14k damage, right? So sure, maybe I should have learned by now. If it's tiny and I can't see it, it's gonna one-shot me. But it's kind of insane to me. And because of that reason, well, so many things, especially League Star, are so insane, then I think Valm Unshell was completely fine. Because there's so many sources of damage that are just crazy. Metamorph, Legion, Delirium, everything first 2 weeks.
See, I got a backup strat. I got a backup strat. You just boot up Twitch TV/Zizaran and just type !RIP, and that'll sort you out.
Yeah,
that'll sort you out.
I'm not beta testing anymore. At least I'm avoiding the league mechanic for the first 2 weeks now.
What?
Yeah, you're fucked, Steel.
No. We have VMS and Zizaran.
I say that, but hard. Like, the thing is, like, every league now, mostly because of streaming, I've really, really wanted to, like, show off the league mechanic, right? On, like, day 1 to 5.
Oh, I know. You can't stop yourself.
Yeah.
Show league.
Yeah.
Show league.
And it's really nice. But then there's just been so many things that are insane. I think the worst example, or like the worst thing that I want to point out, is like the volatile crawlers from Metamorph.
Oh, that was stupid.
They're just like, how? How is that in a video game? It's like spiders. They're just like sprinting at you at like 700% movement speed. They detonate with a 0.5 and they do like insane damage. I'm like, what?
That's the worst part about it. Like the detonation time.
Like,
they trigger and you could be mid animation, you still die.
Yeah.
So yes, I don't know what you guys are talking about. It was fine. Didn't die to it. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
You skipped everything.
No. I watched your rip clips, you too. Then I skipped everything.
Skip Mage 202. But to be fair, that is the smart tactic. That's why I want to start doing it. The thing is, like, I hate skipping the league mechanic on the start. I hate it. It always feels
Harvest,
really bad.
At least Harvest is like omega optional. It is super optional this league.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit weird actually. Like, what do you got? Like, I guess we should talk about Harvest a little bit as well, because like mapping without going to your actual farm is just going to be like
vanilla
normal mapping.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there will be Delirium, right? So, like, the Delirium will still be there. And they've added so much to the core game right now. So, the game is already quite full. But definitely, one of the things I'm very, very worried about is especially that, like, more casual players that don't care about crafting. Because I have a lot of friends that it's not that they, like, can't learn crafting, but they don't want to. They don't give a shit. Well, they don't want to learn crafting at all. They love the, like...
So I wonder if like they consider bestiary crafting, right? Because it's a similar system. You kill the beast, they drop a unique. Same way how you recraft a what do you call it? The same way you recraft a unique into another unique. You know what I mean? I wonder if they're gonna like look at it as the same thing.
I was talking. Pepe hands.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
I'm sorry.
I can't remember. It's all good. I interrupt a lot too.
It's just habit the ping.
No, you're saying that your friends don't want to learn crafting.
Yeah,
that's right.
And I think the things like synthesis and more advanced crafting, and especially things if you ever do like cannot roll attack mods, everything like that. That is a tiny percentage of the player base that does that advanced crafting. And then we already saw this in the past with synthesis, where a lot of the player base, didn't like it because they like loot explosions or at least big loot drops. Obviously, this is I don't know how much.
Did we see that players didn't like and when, like last league, or
no synthesis?
Or was it all the way in synthesis? I think but synthesis was just so poorly designed from a UI perspective as well. It was like the worst experience ever.
Right.
And even getting into 100%. There was just so many issues not relating to the actual craft itself, but just. Like even just figuring out the
100%. You're completely right. However, look at the crafting that's already in the game. Like just the base crafting, like alterations, alchemies. A lot of players don't even like that.
But that's like alterations means that you need to trade for a lot of currency and all that stuff. I think because how targeted the harvest is, it might be. I mean, it's a lot more straightforward, and you pretty much from what it looks like, you're pretty much forced to use it, and then you'll see a good outcome and you use it again.
I hope so. I really hope so. And I hope that Harvest is going to make a lot of players that don't normally craft try it. But that's what I'm saying is one of my main concerns. I think a lot of people are going to
Sure.
I don't even care. I don't even want to look at it because it's crafting. Because there are so many players. That's what I get asked the most about every league.
I think once they'll click the plant and they'll see what the plant gives them, and they'll see like a powerful outcome. If you see a powerful outcome, you're not gonna click it because of some
And
you're making a statement. I'm making a statement. I'm here. I'm not taking this exalt. No, I don't want it.
Yes,
no.
but
at that point, people will take it.
And another thing I think that is going to feel exceedingly bad for a large portion of the player base is if they don't have an item ready that the craft is for, because you can't save them, right? So say you do get like a physics salt or something, you don't have anything to use it on, you're like really excited, you finally got something. Then if you're SSF, sometimes you're just completely screwed, right? Maybe you haven't saved up items that you're ready to craft. However, the other alternative, trade chat. Steelmage is selling a physical exalt for 2 exalted ars. Steelmage took my item. That is also like the other alternative, right? Like you can save them and trade and stuff, they say, but A, there's no great trading system for this, just trade chat. B, it's gonna feel terrible.
So you see the outcome on the seed, right? Like you'll see it's a physical mod seed, right?
Yes.
So you just don't plant them, right?
Well, you're not sure if you're high rolling into something. There might be 2 really good rolls on the seed, right? You're looking for 1. And then without because you didn't check out like the wiki, so you didn't know that there's like this super good outcome, the second one, and then you get it. Like shit, I can't use it.
Right.
A lot of players that are in the boat that I was talking about are not going to know what it does before it pops up. It's the problem. That's why I'm like, for me, this is going to be probably pretty fine because I'll have my have it like thousands of viewers that are going to be giving me their information, right? So I'll learn a lot faster through them. And we'll also be talking to each other. You'll be going like, Ziz, if you ever see this thing, save it. But for players that are playing blind, they're just gonna like suddenly have planted it and you know, it's there, the craft is there. Oh, I have nothing to use it on. Oh, that was one of the rarest crafts I could get. Cool. Awesome. Sweet. That's a concern for me. So maybe something like saving, like have like a small storage of 1 to 3 crafts you can save. Like that seems fine. Maybe not save everything.
I would like. I mean, they could even make it a little bit thematic. You could have like a pot. You can put the plant in it.
Yeah.
You can put it in, your hideout and say, oh, I have this thing. And then, like maybe you have like a cap of like 3 to 5 pots. I'm like, oh, I have these ready. Also, like the thing about storing it, just for, like, just say 3. Let's say you have 3 storage. Like once you have filled up your little storage, what are you gonna do? Now you know you filled it up, so you know you don't have any more chances. So the next time you're gonna do it, you know that if something good pops up, it's your fault.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think though it's okay sometimes that you don't get the most optimal result. I know it's crazy when you don't get like exactly the maximum value out of something, but I don't think that's inherently that bad in PoE, that not everyone gets coddled all the time.
I don't think that's sort of what I brought up as a point either, though. Like, this isn't any concern I have for me and stuff. Mostly,
but I think like you did make it out to be that a lot of your viewers get like really upset if they don't get exactly what they want and that kind of thing.
It's not about getting exactly what they want, though. But if say that you do find something that is literally the equivalent of finding 5x or something really exciting, and having that go to waste,
sure, that sucks.
That's a big deal to a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, GGG they want crafting to be accessible to people who haven't tried the system, haven't tried crafting before, right? So it is important that they don't feel like they're getting shafted.
Yeah, this is already a thing that doesn't feel accessible to a lot of people.
I mean, sometimes you sell a unique and you didn't know it's worth a lot. That happens.
Yeah.
That's all.
But that's not out of your control. This is a bit. More so than selling a unique to the vendor. And that also doesn't feel great. Would you want more things that don't feel great in the game? I'd rather the game be more accessible.
Yeah, I mean, look, this crafting system, this is my concern with Harvest as a league mechanic. It needs to be well received. People need to interact with it. It needs to work because it's the whole league. Unless people like really into cosplaying a farmer, right? I know Nugi's got the farm emote. So, I mean, maybe you're gonna put the go farming, right? And you're just really into making a nice looking farm, but otherwise, crafting is everything, right? That's the whole league.
Yeah.
Oh, and the boss. And
the reason I care so much, and it's very important to me, is I love crafting, and I think like as humans, it's always whenever you like something, you always want other people to like it too. And I see so many people that are like just hate crafting. They hated synthesis. So I would love this to like introduce a lot more people to crafting. That's why I wanted to feel good.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's nothing like synthesis, at least.
Yeah.
It's more like bestiary, and I think people do beasts. I think people do interact with bestiary. I don't think.
Chat, yes or no if you do bestiary. Yes if you do bestiary. No if you don't. Think you'll be very surprised.
A little bit, just a little bit.
It's
actually pretty mixed. You should do your beast chat. They're like
they're really good. They really
like
are.
at the start of the league.
You have no idea how many people skip bestiary completely. Like the amount of people that had their minds blown just by the flask crafts.
1 in 20 people I play with do beasts. Dude, there's like literally 5 to 10 exalt beasts.
Yeah, I talk about it all the time. But like, that's the thing about Path of Exile, right? Finding out things on your own in this game is a nightmare. It really is. The amount of people that A, don't know that you can get 6 things from Val side areas fairly often, and B, that don't know that you can recolor them in your crafting bench for Val orbs, the amount of people that don't know those 2 things is a staggering amount.
But
like
then it's
so
good that
many.
We have such an open community where we can talk to each other.
Like so many people, every time I say that you can recolor corrupted items or change the sockets or links, they're like, "What do you mean?" So it's like it's a hard game to find out things on your own, which is there's a lot of upsides and downsides, and like you've been able to do that since 2013. Obviously, like earlier on in PoE, it used to be harder. You needed Verici 8, but ever since we got that like nice little crafting bench now, you can always do it. I say it all the time too.
Very powerful.
Yeah, it's overall.
Great. That's probably one of the things people should start doing more. Just using that crafting bench, even while leveling. Oh, I'm like really strong.
Wait.
What?
Sorry, I was just gonna ask real quick.
Yeah.
Chat uses the crafting bench, right? You use the crafting bench, right?
Steel feels very out of touch with the casual player, but yeah, more people use that. It's just a lot of
it's like for the leveling experience. It's like the intermediary step. I don't think people use that as much as they should do. I mean, even I mean, there are times where like I should have just gone there, quickly fixed my resist.
Yeah,
put that thing. It's cheap.
Yeah, one transmute, huge.
Some alterations.
We're getting flat fist on your weapon early on once you open like the sewer thing. So yeah, there is a lot of things, but I think especially why I think the 2 biggest problems in the game are bestiary and betrayal. I think those are the overwhelming number where a lot of people are like, look at that, like who's Pepe Silva? Like they're like with strings and shit, and they're like, fuck this shit. And the reason for that is because the core game is already so complicated. Crafting, like PoE at its core, like maybe not to players that have played a lot, but at its core, there's very few games like this with this much content. So then when you have something as a side content that's even more complicating, they're like, you know what? I'm already trying to figure out what killed me in the last map, 6 portals. I'm already trying to figure out what I need on my like rare weapon. I don't want to bother with bestiary. I don't want to bother with betrayal. Obviously, bestiary is a lot more accessible, but betrayal is...
I mean, betrayal made me feel dumb for like a month until I figured it out, dude. I mean, once you figure it out, it's easy, but I felt so stupid for like a month, dude.
Oh,
But
and
you are getting
Jesus.
rewarded though. I mean, you do the thing, and even if you fuck it up, you still get something. It's not like it's like robbing you of something by doing it wrong. It's just hard to figure out properly. The same thing with bestiary. I mean, just kill the monsters and then go check at some point.
Yeah, but I would say actually there's a problem with most Zana dailies and like the side quests on kind of like that. So let's take Delve as an example, right? And the more you watch other people do it or interact with the community, you're gonna like hear other people talking about why it's good, and then you're maybe gonna look into it a bit more. But let's say you're trying Delve for the first time, right? You're running down in Delve, but you're not destroying walls because you haven't really bothered talking to Nico. You don't know that the walls are that rewarding. So you do like Delve for like 30 minutes, and you're like, well, that was shit. Didn't do walls. So, you know, but if you do a wall and get 7 chaos, you're like, wow, I got 7 chaos from destroying one wall. Whereas a lot of players came to me and was like, hey, Ziz, had no idea Delve was rewarding until they were like, watch the streamer do it. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
And like,
it would be nice if there was like an introductory mission that actually took you to a wall, not just going from node to node, but just like one mission to a wall would be all you needed, just to see how it works.
Yeah, they really don't do League tutorial mechanics at all, do they?
Yeah, because at the moment they do like the starter mission. No. They're talking about the first mission that just takes you to one node. It doesn't actually show you a wall.
No, like something that takes you to a wall.
Nugi is talking about literally a mission that in Delve would show you to a wall in a side area and go like,
throw a dynamite.
There's a wall destroy quest.
Oh.
Okay, well it needs to be more obvious. I didn't even know there was one.
Dude, it's a quest, but it doesn't do anything. Like it just exists.
There needs to be like
there's nothing
it
behind
tells you there's walls.
Really?
But if there's no reward behind it, people might just think that this is like pointless.
Oh, it's there.
The quest says go find a wall and blow it up. Well, I mean, it needs to be more than that. It needs to be similar to the first Delve mission. That the first node forces you to go that one bit. The second node should just force you to go into a wall. Literally, that's it.
Chat needs to understand something very important. That requires reading. Ziz didn't even want to read in Divinity, and Divinity is like all reading. That's the whole game, dude.
And there are a lot of players like me as well. There are a lot of players that in a game like PoE, they're gonna skip through things. They're not gonna look the lower. They're not gonna read through the quests. It's a hack and slash. A lot of players are like me.
Yeah, no, I'm like, I did the same thing. Like, I knew there was a quest, but like, I still didn't know what a wall was. You know what I mean?
And another thing, even incursion. A lot of people think incursion is really bad, whereas specifically like keeping the red incursions for like really, really juiced up maps is something like a lot of probably all three of us do. Whereas a lot of people are gonna like just end the league with like 110 normal yellow and red missions of incursion, right? Whereas, for example, I ended the league with 3 red incursions left.
I mean, once you understand how the incursion works, if that is being explained well enough, then people over time they learn the tricks. You know, it's not something that is necessarily like that important to tell the player. It's just at a certain point you figure out, oh, I could maybe put this together with that, and then that gives me a yield, which is super nice to figure out.
100%. But that's part of what I'm saying, like that a lot of mechanics are skipped because they can be harder to understand why they're good.
Sure.
And there's pros and cons to that.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like there's too much content bloat in Path of Exile? Like too much stuff in the game?
Yeah, I wanted to say something about this. It all comes down to like what the GGG are trying to do with player agency. So I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it so there's so much content that you just interact with what you want to do. But obviously the reality is it's overwhelming and you want to do everything but you can't do everything and it's frustrating, right?
Yes.
And then obviously you look at things like, I don't know, what your least favorite league mechanic might be. Let's say Alva, right? Because we're just talking about it and you're like, I don't really want to do Alva, so it just sits there and it just makes you feel shitty about Alva. So I don't know if like what they're trying to do is working. So I think that's what they're trying to do.
I think you're kind of right, but I also feel yes and no. Like there is too much content, but also I feel like there's a bit of a lack in games where there is this much depth and this much content as well. So it is kind of nice. Obviously, that is like I'm sort of extremely biased there. Because for me, when something new is added to the game, I already know all the path systems. Whereas it is making the entry level to Path of Exile harder and harder, and it can put a lot of people off entering a game, and it's like, wow, that's a lot of stuff I have to learn. Or I can go play Minecraft Dungeons, where all I have to do is upgrade my weapon. So there definitely needs like pros and cons there, and I think all three of us here is going to be a little bit biased in the fact that we are going to know all the content already.
And we enjoy
this SSF hardcore circle jerk 101, dude.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I try to think a little bit about how players like newer players.
I think they've made it really hard on themselves though, GGG, with the way they've rewarded players in many of the recent leagues with just showering us with league mechanics. So whenever new players go into a new league, they feel like it's like, why am I here? It gave me one of these. I got 3 the other, like just from doing that other thing. Like so many times you don't even know why you're there because it just doesn't seem worth it.
Yeah, I feel like something that's changed a lot over time is just there's not that many chase uniques, sort of. Like there's not that many things that I'm like farming for and actually hoping will drop as before. And Diablo 2, in my opinion, did this better than any other game still. Like for some reason, like it has so much less content than most other games. But I don't think any game has ever made something as nice as just farming Mephisto all day. Which is incredible. Because there were so many cool things that could happen just from that one thing. And that's really impressive with that little content. Because obviously Diablo 2 has a fraction of the stuff in Path of Exile. And somehow they have made that little 1 minute and 10-second journey of just spamming Mephisto really exciting. I could do that for thousands of hours. That is impressive.
Worth pointing out though, Pee-wee used to be like that, Ziz. It used to be like that. You boys remember Piety and Dominus runs?
Yeah.
Man Ocean, multi-client. They used to be like that.
I mean, even Verveil runs.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just developed. I don't know. I don't think it's worse what we have today. It's just different.
It's just different. It is. And I feel like they have like a sort of what also takes away from that sometimes is adding quality of life. So for example, and this is just like something everyone's going to have a very different opinion on. But if we go all the way back to, for example, Tempest, maps were a chase item, sort of. Anything over a tier 12 map would be fairly exciting. Like if I got a tier 15, that would give me like a similar feeling of like elevation as an Exalted Orb. However, right now, if I drop a tier 16 right now, I don't care, right? And some people want that. Some people want maps to be not an exciting drop at all, right? Just very, very accessible. So that's just pros and cons there. But I do want more things that can be exciting. And yeah, right now there's very few uniques, especially on Trade League, that I feel is particularly exciting. And that's pushing me personally towards SSF because nearly everything is exciting on SSF. Like,
true.
Oh, I'm playing like a Marauder Berserker now, but I finally dropped an Eye of Chayula, which is common, but my next character can use that. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. This opens up so many things. So I do think the more and longer I've personally played the game, the better SSF is becoming.
I think that's the one of the things I think is one of the worst things with this league is specifically that I'm not that excited to find a unique access. You know, I was really looking forward to, maybe I can like find a good unique X that can hold me over for quite a while or something like that. And I feel like I'm not excited about finding a new unique in this league, which is really sad because it's really nice. And then I always felt like the craft was the next thing after like the good unique.
Mm-hmm.
And now I just feel like I should just craft it immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
speaking of, sorry, you go.
No, you go.
I was just gonna say, speaking of uniques and chase uniques, there's one chase unique that we need to talk about.
Oh yeah. Oh. This is gonna be a circle jerk, I think.
Yeah. What are they talking about Headhunter for like 20 minutes? What are they doing this?
Headhunter got massively nerfed, and it's very, very similar to what I've always been suggesting. Is my like everyone always asks me like, how would you nerf or change Headhunter? I've
Same,
always
yep.
said increase or buff the duration to 30 seconds, and then make that you cannot extend it in any way. No,
Yeah.
like Solstice Jewel, no Self Curse. What they've done, if you're not sure, is what they've done that you basically can't Self Curse anymore. But now
Which
it's
is increasing the duration.
Yeah. But now it's 20 seconds and Solstice Jewel still works on it? How much duration is it with Solstice Jewel? I'm actually not sure.
It's like 28 seconds or something like that. 24.
24.
30.
30. 24. 24 or 30.
It's not 30. It's not 30, it was
It's
nerfed.
realistically still a very strong unique, especially if you're doing like beyond maps and things like that. Still incredibly strong.
Yeah.
But it is not going to be like the silly thing. And I think it's kind of okay. I feel like the problem was when you got Headhunter to last either 80 or 120 seconds, and then you were just running around as 2 boots. I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I always felt that the when they lasted that long, the whole what's the word for it? Like the idea behind the item should be that you're chasing the next rare like you're always chasing for the next rare. The moment they start lasting that long, you can do that. Like, I'm just doing my betrayal over here, you know. Or I got half a minute left before I need to move. Right? That just kind of seems silly.
Yeah,
But the whole idea is that you're hunting heads, right? You're out to get some kills, and
20 seconds meant there's a lot of agency. Like you had to go, right?
And push the
and
issue,
if you stopped moving, you lost all your buffs. You basically were at the start of the map again.
Yep.
Now you can make it last the entire map, and that's why you see cute dogs' feet, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right. You'll still see cute dogs' feet, right? I'm sure
Every
he'll
now and
juice his
then.
maps up, but it's not going to be like he's not going to like watch 90 Day Fiance while doing that, right?
And it like realistically, it's still either the strongest item in the game or one of the strongest items in the game.
I mean, nothing like that.
Yeah,
Modern mapping will give you the same amount of power. There's just nothing. That is it. I mean, what's they called? The jewels. Inspired learnings.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No, I mean, it's still gonna be insane unique for sure, though.
It's definitely gotten like more out of hand over the years, where it's starting to have a massive impact on the economy, which obviously not an impact on SSF, but it does have a big impact on the economy.
Well, it also has a big impact on players' perception of that as well, right? Because they think they see that and it's like, holy shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to bring it back in line.
Yeah, it can make a lot of players that don't have it feel very, very bad. Like they see if I open a Nemesis currency map fully juiced, which a lot of players are gonna be like, what? And then they see me drop like 2x in one map. I'm running around and it's just currency going like brap, brap, brap. And they're like, oh no, am I doing something wrong? Like, what's happening here? So yeah, like you said, player perception. Like, I feel like the only league where it was like an insane problem was Legion.
Yeah. That's like the worst one.
Yeah.
I remember Nugiyen's rants.
Yeah.
I mean, in my ideal world, I still would do more things to it, but people enjoy it, and I'm not here to just steal everyone's fun.
Okay, they did do something more. They know Beyond on the map device as well. It is in its weakest state that it's been in for like 3 or 4 years, I think.
I mean, for the producers with the farm and everything, they're still gonna find a way to have triple Beyond from what it looks like.
Yeah, because of the harvest crafting, which is this is actually really cool. On a more positive note, because I've been talking about nerfs, the like Uber Lab and the Uber unique maps, and obviously the reusing sextants and all that kind of stuff. That's really cool. Actually.
I'm extremely excited with the Uber Lab thing, because that was also something. I wonder if they'd already started planning then, because in one of the ExileCon interviews, I said that while talking to Chris on stage. Like it should be in one of the videos. I'm not sure which one, but it's something I brought up that I thought a Uber Lab would be really cool. Something that doesn't give an additional ascendancy, but just for the people that, because there's a lot don't like lab, right? They don't like being forced to do that, like lab to ascend, and it's a fun mechanic. But for those who do, it would be cool to have something that is just pure reward. Whether the traps are like almost one-shotting you, or Zaro is like level 83 or 86 and just really powerful, and then just gives you a really beefy reward. That would be cool. Or maybe something really strong with enchants. And that's what I'm hoping this is.
I mean, I don't know if you guys already saw, you probably did, but there was 3. There's actually 3 different types of Uber Lab as well.
Oh.
Yeah. So it was in the filter
Do they have
stuff,
names?
you know.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll go find them. But there's 3 different types. So there's 3 different awards. Obviously, we're not going to know what those are because they're not like specific enough information. But pretty juicy. So we've got tribute to the goddess, gift to the goddess, and dedication to the goddess. I don't know what that means. But yeah. 3 different types of rewards.
Huh.
I think it's really cool. I think there's a lot they could do there. And I think, honestly, I think Lab is really cool content. It's not something I love running. I actually don't really like that Ascendancy is gated behind it. But I think Lab itself is cool content for the game for the players that do enjoy running it.
Well, something I've noticed, I mold every league every time I have to run Lab because it's forced, right? It's like my character is not built for this. But when I do make a Lab character, it's like actually kind of rewarding. It feels good to make a Lab specific character. And if this is more of that, that's kind of cool, right? If it's optional content that you can build a character for, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Definitely, especially earlier in PoE when there was like less power creep and you had characters like, I just can't ascend. My character has no single target. I'm set up for maps and that is it. I don't have enough damage to take out his arrow. That's like, then it feels really bad. It's not good.
Yeah. I kind of, I mean, I might be special here, but I always enjoy the tension of having that one thing, like things you need to overcome, even though they don't feel comfortable. You know, and figure another way.
I'm not saying I didn't.
I get that it gets very tedious on your 8th time having to do that. I get that.
Yeah. No, I mean, there are ways to overcome it. There are special tricks, pantheons, probably rolling flasks. It's kind of like, also, you know now through experience, we do anyway, when to like do lab and stuff. It's not a big deal, but
yeah,
it can be frustrating sometimes.
Pantheons also got changed.
I don't know. I think Nugi's okay with it.
With what?
I'm less okay with it. I don't like the Shikari Pantheon being nerfed because that's what it
good.
is.
It's good stuff.
I don't think they need to remove power level from Pantheons because Pantheons are already so like viewed as weak.
Yeah,
they're not weak.
I know, but they're
this
perceived that way.
It's not weak either. The new one is not weak either.
I'm somewhere in between you two, I think.
I don't know.
I think I'm somewhere in between you two. I don't think the nerf is that bad. A lot of people are saying it's dead. I'm still probably going to use it because I don't want more than 5 poison stacks. That's already fairly decent. I did think it was a bit weird because right now, or at least on the last atlas, and I think keeping it that way would have been fine. Like, it was a tier 15 map before to unlock it. Being able to kill a tier 15 boss and unlocking poison immunity, like, this is a god. You're stealing a god's power. Having something really powerful seemed completely fine to have behind it.
Yeah, I barely even used it in the first place too. It was just good for so this is the reason they nerfed it. Al-Hazmin poisons you, and if you took that Pantheon, it completely negated that entire fight, right? It was much easier. You'd only die to on hit from the snakes, basically. So that one Pantheon allowed you to completely trivialize that boss.
They have poison
couldn't
immunity
they just
on flasks.
couldn't they just make him like
do more fist damage? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It completely removes poison as a mechanic in the game against you. That's just what it does.
Right, but you can get poison immunity on a flask, and for
sure, but then you're dealing with it like that way. Like a flash slot is very, very strong. Like a flash suffix there's a lot of power there.
Yeah, there is. You're right. So I definitely don't think it's that bad. And like, there's a lot of other good ones too. I think this patch, at least for me, is a little bit more open to like what major Pantheon. I think I'll take the Arakali Pantheon quite a lot now with the shock reduction.
Yeah, that one seems good.
Because let me open up POB here. But there's a new one called Anointed Flesh now. It's like really tedious for me to show some of my stuff set up right now. But there's a new +1 max rest with some reduced shock effect and stuff like that. And with that and the Aracali Pantheon, you can very, very easily get to 80% reduced shock effect. And then I don't feel as compelled to have shock immunity on my flasks as before.
I mean, you can get more shock effect reduced, right? With the cluster duel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just get 100%.
Yeah. But even without that.
Sure.
Still like 20% of like the shock going through, that's still not gonna burst me down.
Yeah. Can we talk about the fact that that is being put at the top just beyond Templar, like one of the strongest places on the, like, for the strongest classes, the strongest players on the tree already?
Deadeye looks kind of embarrassing right now. It really needs...
Removed fucking... I was like... They removed the reduced physical on Solar Steel, but they give it... I don't know. I'm confused.
There's a lot of really weird things. And I mean, obviously, like, this is evolving over time. And like Steel brought up earlier, we're going to see a lot of changes before PoE 2. But right now, like, Deadeye looks so empty. It's just...
I mean...
It's such a, like, if you look at Duelist versus Deadeye, you're like, what happened here?
There's like one good thing about the Ranger. Wind Dancer is actually pretty neat. I like Wind Dancer at least.
Yeah,
what's that?
One's really nice.
It's 20% less damage taken if you haven't been hit recently. There's some other bullshit on there as well, but that's what I'm focusing on because that's the 20% less damage if you haven't been hit recently.
That is cool. There's a lot of cool keystones that are coming to the tree. I was honestly a little bit surprised to see so the what's the Doriani keystone called, or like the wild one?
Divine Flash.
Divine
Flash?
No, I wasn't surprised that Divine Flash stayed on keystones because that one is straight up overpowered. But the Doriani one, I'm surprised that wasn't put on Steel Tree. Because
ES
one? The Life is Extra ES. I was expecting that to be put somewhere on the life or somewhere near life nodes for Ranger or Shadow. Because I feel one of the biggest problems in the game with the skill tree specifically is that for a very long time, some Witch builds, a lot of Shadow builds, and a lot of Ranger builds are really, really struggling with getting enough defense and life, especially during leveling. And I think having the 20% of your life as extra energy shield as a keystone, maybe be behind like some investment or something, but that would be a cool, creative way to give a little bit more defense there to even it out without actually giving loads of life or energy shield nodes.
Yeah.
Because right now, I don't know. It feels kind of rough over there.
Ranger era is very rough if you don't go like for full evasion, like full just avoidance.
Yeah, you don't even really want to do the Iron Reflexes while Molten Shell thing anymore too. It's kind of
no, it's rough.
Because that was my like secret tip for playing a Ranger. Oh
yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
So what's up with like brinksmanship remove, like brinksmanship, bloodletting, and silent steps? I saw that there was something with like JSON thing being, but that was for like Saboteur node with that being gone. But do we know if they actually intend to remove damage reduction from silent steps?
Yeah, sure.
I think so.
I think
they removed a lot of damage reduction, yeah.
I think they booted up downstream one too many times because he plays max damage reduction builds, right? He gets the cap of 90%, like he really 5-heads it, min-maxes the shit out of it, and they just don't like damage reduction. Like they hate damage reduction.
I'm fine with that, but then you have to give something back because this is something that the intermediary builds, or like it's just the average build will take as an extra step. It's like a little nice thing to help them survive a little bit better.
Yeah,
and you remove all of this from the area without giving anything back. That is, I don't know. Then you improve Tireless, you add in Glancing Blows on top of Templar, you add in like Anointed Flesh, and I mean, an area of the tree that did not need any more survival gets survival, and then you remove from one of the places of the tree that needs the most, for the type of builds that's there and build around it, you take it all away.
See, I think it's very strange that we're seeing repeatedly defense getting so many nerfs and changes when the game's balance is very clearly balanced around softcore. Very clearly lately. So I think it's very strange because there's obviously in just like things like items, you see, for example, Soul Tether will be, I'm gonna guess it's like 5-10 chaos on softcore, whereas on hardcore for a long time it's 2 to 5x, right? Depending on the league. So you see like defensive items, or it's 1C on softcore. So like the items are obviously reflected by the player base. And then you also see like a lot less investment on a lot of softcore players in defense. But defense are still nuked like very often, which is kind of strange, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
And
there's a bit of a bias there, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's completely fine, like balancing after the majority of your player base. You want to find like a little bit above the average player, and obviously like balancing around hardcore, it was fine when there was like 40% or 30% playing hardcore. But now it's like a tiny amount playing hardcore, so I don't have a problem with that. But then it is also weird to focus so hard on nerfing the defenses.
Like, because like if you're a softcore player, if you are going to take some defensive nodes, they have to be, you know, they have to look good. You know, you have to be happy about taking them as well. Maybe they just don't want to have, you know, damage and defense on the same thing, so you probably kind of give the, you know, the people just stacking DPS, giving that defense at the same time. Maybe they don't want to have that, but then at least you need to have strong options for surviving somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe this is why they didn't nerf Fiddle, right? Maybe that's why they're just putting power on cluster jewels, keeping it there, removing it off the core tree. I guess I don't know.
Fatal was pretty rare to roll already. Do you think it's gonna be harder?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was not fun to roll on SSF. Especially if you wanted like a stat node on the side or the percentage increased power. That was not fun to roll.
I think everything that's being considered strong is going to get harder to roll. And that definitely was one of them.
Yeah. I think we're going to see some interesting rolling of cluster jewels and stuff.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
I think we will find some easy to roll stuff, because when they make certain things harder on a cluster duel, they also make other things easier, right? Because the weightings shift.
Yeah.
So there might be certain setups that people figure out that these are actually really easy to roll, and that becomes kind of like the meta. So that's what I'm hoping to see.
I mean, there's plenty of life notables on cluster jewels that aren't fiddle that are usable.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. There's a lot of good ones. And like honestly, like no matter, I love being critical and giving a lot of feedback, but no matter what they do, we always do adapt as a community, right? No matter what, even if that involves just playing slower and taking our time more. So at the end of the day, I'm still always going to be like very critical when I feel they do like really dumb things, but we will adapt either way.
Yeah, we'll just log out more.
Yep. I saw Mathlo made a joke about that. Oh. Yeah.
I'm gonna look for my Enduring Cry.
That's true.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Enduring Cry actually looks really good.
It looks insane. Absolutely insane.
So I think Enduring Cry right now is making me feel like back in the day when we had Cast When Damage Taken Enduring Cry. It looks like something I'm gonna try to fit on every single build within some work right now. Because the fact that we're back to being able to automate it again, I'm like, okay, it's 2015. Cast and damage taken Enduring Cry is kind of back, is what it feels like. Which is cool. That's a cool like defense. So I hope that is something that can be strong. And for those of you who don't know how you automate something in Path of Exile at the moment, is that any instant skill, like something that is completely instant with no cast time, you can put it on mouse button 1 and you will continuously cast it with no interruption. So, for example, brand recall, people did that on last league. You did it with Enduring Cry and the Instant Cry node, which you can do now still. And that's really cool. And you can do that while moving.
There's the one that makes you... The Chaos one? It like makes you elusive. The eyes pop up.
Whispering, is it Whispering Step? Withering.
I think so.
Withering.
That was great.
I think that's the name.
Withering.
It was really nice if you needed to, if you had a build that needed to wither, and you didn't really care that you lost the buff, when doing something else. So while running around, you would just always like wither step, and then you would also debuff at the same time. So that was kind of cool, I thought.
Yeah.
Vast step.
I think the enduring once. Okay, so you guys tell me if I'm crazy, because I think people generally thought I was crazy. No, because it's like everyone wants the power, but I don't think it's and maybe I'm gatekeeping two-handers here, but I feel like someone needs to step up and protect two-handers. Because
what do you mean?
Okay, so war cries. I don't think everyone should have equal access to the most powerful war cry. I think if you invest into war cry, then the enduring cry becomes your defensive option. Right? You're so tied on skills on yours. So let's assume, okay, so just tell me if this is an insane idea. The total power of enduring cry is only 50% if you haven't war cried recently or used another war cry.
I kind of agree because it feels a little bit like Fortify, where Fortify was implemented to the game to be like, this is going to help melee.
Yeah.
and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, if you only pick one war cry, you're gonna with the instant cry thing, you're gonna have to choose between offense and defense, basically. Really hard pick. So that's gonna be rough, actually.
Yeah, 100%. That's definitely something I kind of agree on because, like I said earlier, when something is like really active or something that has an inherent disadvantage like melee, they do need some things that are exclusively good for them. Like for Fortify and stuff, I've always wanted that Fortify is based on the damage you're dealing. So that if you're literally shield charging into something and you cast a buff, well, screw you don't get the Fortify buff at all. Or you get like 0.5% damage reduction. Enjoy. Whereas if you're like slamming with your Earthquake or you're doing loads of damage with your Dual Strike build or Blade Storm or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, you dealt like 100,000 damage with Fortify. Enjoy your full Fortify effect. Right? That seems completely fair. And have it fall off when you haven't dealt damage recently. It's so insane to me the way it is right now. It's like you bop something with your shield and you're full. It's weird.
Are you trying to actually nerf Spellslinger, right? Is that what you're trying to say? Don't do that, Ziz.
No?
I like my Fortify on my one boy. Makes perfect sense.
No, I just want like specific. Oh, and actually, I kind of hate that melee is affected by proxy shield at all. Because obviously we're playing melee builds, right? So there are like screen wide. Right? I still think melee should go completely through proxy shield, even if you're fucking a mile away with just any melee tag. Because Spellslinger was implemented into the game when they talked about it. They were like, this is to make melee feel better and to make like specifically bow builds, because bow builds were like killing things from 2 screens away, and they wanted to like put them more in line with each other. But now I do actually have range on my melee, just not as much as bows, and I'm standing like fucking 1 inch outside of that shield, just like that.
Yeah, no, I remember playing my Glacial Hammer build and experiencing that. They should definitely rework it so melee just like crushes it or bypasses it or something.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I don't care how.
Depending on the tag on the skill, you either go through or you don't.
Yeah.
And proxy shield in general, especially on like the there's a sextant that had physical monsters, multiple proxy shields, just the game still can't really handle it. Hopefully Vulcan treats it better. But I mean, I remember one time I was mapping with Embu, and we had like a strict rule, no fizz sextant, but he threw one in anyway. I entered the map, started sparking, and I'm like, and he's like, oh shit, there's fizz mobs, and my frames went to 0 FPS, and you just see like, dead. I was like, oh, great, thanks. Excellent.
We haven't talked about Vulcan yet, actually.
It's huge. For those who aren't aware what Vulcan is, it's a really cool action role-playing game. No, I'm just kidding. It's a new engine for Path of Exile, which is in an experimental status right now. You can already try it as a beta thing by just while in the options on the login screen under graphics. Most people should have the option to turn on Vulcan, an engine. So it's instead of DirectX. And at least for me, it's been pretty incredible. Oh, sorry, it's a renderer, not an engine. You're right. Chat is right. I love you.
It's an API.
Chat's smart.
And it's it's incredible. So at the start of this league, I had 10 to 15 FPS on a really, really good computer playing Volatile Dead Spellslinger. Now with Vulcan and with the Volatile Dead MTX, which is 10 FPS more, I'm getting stable 90 frames per second and it doesn't budge.
I think the main thing I'm hoping for with it is that. So one of the reasons I died last league was who's the guy, the Fist guy of the Guardians, the new ones?
Drox.
Yeah, all his monsters spawned with all his bullshit banners and things in like a pretty juiced map, and everything just stalled for a full second, and my computer started lagging behind.
Yeah,
and I died. It was rough. So I think that's one of the things that Vulcan is actually going to help with the most. Is whenever there's too many things like appearing immediately on the screen.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing I noticed with Vulcan. You don't have like 0 FPS like ever, basically.
Yeah.
So the game's always playable. So even though you're not gonna have, it's not gonna magically give you 60 FPS all the time, unless you're Zizaran and buy the Stygian Volatile Dead MTX.
Code Zizaran at checkout. Just kidding.
But no, it prevents the game from completely stalling, right? Which is something, that's really big.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very, very happy for it, and like obviously this is already the beta stage, but like right now it's at least for me been a joy to use, and I would say it's like the third biggest thing that's come to Path of Exile. Locksteps, loot filters, and Vulcan.
I figured something out. They nerfed VMS and all the damage reduction because of Vulcan, because now we can actually have 10 FPS, so it's playable.
That is actually not the worst like idea.
Yeah, maybe.
I think that makes sense, because something they noticed immediately with both loot filters and what was the lockstep was how much more efficient players got immediately after.
Yeah, I mean, movement skills became OP after they introduced lockstep, like actually overpowered for a little bit. They had to nerf them repeatedly again and again and again to bring them in line with the lockstep, basically. Yeah. Right? So, yeah.
I hate loot filters, sort of. I think the way loot and loot filters are in Path of Exile is a massive design flaw, which obviously they've addressed multiple times and they want to change in PoE too.
Yeah.
But
PoE 2 will fix everything.
I think the way loot filters are currently working, and like the fact that they're mandatory. I did a map earlier, just like an Alct map. And all I did was just like run around looking at loot and the amount of stuff that dropped. And it was just insane.
On that note, we're really pitching Vulcan here. Did you guys notice Vulcan didn't lag when you pressed Alt to show loot?
Did not.
It's the same thing, right? With things appearing, all that, like, it has to render everything at the same time.
Yeah, but it didn't actually freeze. Like, it actually showed the loot. You pressed the button and it showed the loot.
That's insane.
It blew my mind.
It
blew my mind.
I didn't know that. I haven't tried that. But yeah, no, that's great. Like, but what I would want a loot filter to be is like, oh, I'm now playing a warrior character or like a marauder character, and I really want to focus on seeing like axes. But yeah, it's just become mandatory now. Or it's like, sure, there are like things you will eventually stop picking up, but I definitely don't feel it should be mandatory like it is. And even just like reducing the amount of white and blue bases that drop. And then someone mentioned, well, then bases are going to be rarer, but is that really a bad thing? That is actually a pretty cool, exciting thing when you do get a good base.
Oh yeah, that used to be like D2. You'd hunt for bases for days, and when you finally got one, it was awesome.
Yeah. So I think that is a good thing.
Yeah.
The more exciting drops, the better. It's gonna be interesting to see how that changes in PoE 2 though, because they have like obviously PoE 2 felt a lot more slow paced and a little bit more thought out.
I mean the demo.
Just yeah, everything.
We was in Act 1, and if you guys are unaware, maybe you've never made it past Act 1, but Act 1, genuinely, for me at least, the hardest part of the game. So, gotta keep that in mind.
I actually hate that. If you mean like current Act 1 Marvel and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it because I feel like a game like Path of Exile, it's really good when it incrementally like builds difficulty. Whereas right now, I can't imagine the amount of people that quit to Merveil right now. And people are like, what do you mean? Just corpse rush. Do you like she recharges energy shield? If you go in there with like you are like a player like me maybe and you like click through everything, you haven't really researched anything, you just want to hack and slash, you're going into Merveil with a 1-link split arrow, 1 iron ring, 1 coral ring, some random like sash, whatever, and a short bow. And you go to Merveil and they're like, you're just gonna die like 30 times and then go play another game. That happens probably quite a lot.
I was following the progress of an actual new player, and they told me they made it past Act 2, and I clapped, dude. No, but yeah, I don't know.
I actually wonder like how many players like just bail out at that point.
Yeah, Brutus and Merveil. Brutus, Merveil, and maybe even Val are like way too hard. I don't know if
Brutus is that bad, is it? I mean, you can, so...
If he doesn't have energy shield that regens, so definitely not as bad.
And there's no, although all these ads don't, like, they're not as brutal. The statues are crazy in Merveil.
Yeah. They're insane. Merveil is an insane fight right now. The statues, the water, you have 0 cold res, and you're just spawning in the fountains and just dying. You run in, you can't even see the boss hitting you. It's just water. You're like, great. Super. Like, it's a really hard fight. The fact that when like when we're racing and stuff, like obviously then we're under leveled, right? New players are going to be over leveled because they're going slower, but still, like the fact that it's like an actual fight for experienced players, like.
But don't new players level a lot though as well? So they don't they just get there like a few levels after we do? Because we do rush, right? Oh.
That's what I just said. We're under leveled and they're over leveled.
Oh,
but
right,
still,
okay.
Like, and if they're on something like a spell build, that might be a lot better. But if they're on a melee build, then or like attack based build, that's worse.
Are you ready for a smooth as fuck transition, boys? So, if you would like to get past Act 1 and 2 in PoE 3.11 Harvest, starter builds. Let's talk starter builds.
I like it. So, what branch of Spellslinger are you looking forward to do? Honestly, I am very, very excited about Fireball. I think it's the most excited I've been about anything in a long time.
I've heard people talk about that, like... Actually, is it good? I actually kind of dismissed it a little bit.
I was already thinking about doing Fireball. I was just wanting to see what the new Threshold Jewel did. And the new Threshold Jewel is pretty cool. I'm trying to remember what the exact wording is right now. Do you remember?
Oh, it's Scorch.
Yes, that's it. That's it. It changes Ignite to Scorch, which is a lot more damage. If you don't know what Scorch is, it replaces Ignite in this instance and then gives you up to 30% elemental penetration. Or is it 50? 30 or 50. But it's a lot of damage and really, really cool. And then Fireball already had 180% damage effectiveness. And damage effectiveness is how good flat damage to spells is for your ability. Now, that got buffed to 240, which is crazy because I was already like, oh, this might even be my league starter at 180. But now it's...
I mean, it's really good on Spellslinger.
Yeah, and people are now going to maybe be like, well, why is it good on Spellslinger? Well, what Spellslinger does is that it turns all the attack damage on your wand into spell damage. And at level 20 Spellslinger, it's a 1-to-1 basically. So if you get one of those crazy high, like up to 300 fire damage to attacks, well, you get 300 fire damage to spells, which is then going to be around 740 to Fireball. something like that. That was very rough math, but it's like insane. So it's very crazy for spells that are high damage effectiveness, and definitely the main use. So
one second,
yeah.
just before we continue.
Oh,
I'll whip out my people notes.
Okay.
I'm ready. Keep going. Sorry. Fireball good. Fireball good.
Fireball good. And then Warcry as well. Steelmage is an excellent starter. I was thinking if you go like a Berserker, no, sorry, a Juggernaut Warcry build, with Blade Storm, that'd be great for you. That's excellent.
Yeah. No.
Warcry would be good.
But no,
also the jewel actually has 50 or 30 to 50% chance to scorch, which is really important because otherwise you can't scorch. It's one of the big things about the whole jewel.
And then it also it still converts all a chance to ignite to scorch chance, right? So if you have flammability, you're capped.
Does it?
I can't remember. I
don't know how. I don't remember how that goes.
I think it's just that you scorch instead of igniting, so then chance to ignite.
I thought it was 30 to 50% chance to scorch. I think it was just
on the jewel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you can ignite and scorch at the same time?
No, you can't ignite it anymore.
But then sure, the chance to ignite becomes chance to scorch.
No, I think it's just chance to ignite, but you can't ignite. Hang on, I'd have to look up the jewel again. Maybe I'm wrong.
The jewel just says instead grants. Right, so it just grants 30 to 50% chance to scorch and prevents fireball from igniting. That's what it does.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. You're right. Then that makes sense. But still, that's still a large damage boost.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, the big thing is Fireball was really ignite focused. Now the Threshold Jewel allows you to do spell slinger. Like that's like a whole kind of new thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually pretty cool.
And you could even do that on a Necro because seeing as crit got nerfed and you're not as forced to go crit anymore, the Necro is actually a really, really good choice for other things too. You do get a lot of minion damage on the skill tree, and then you grab Spiritual Aid. I don't think Spiritual Aid got changed.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Oh, it did actually.
What?
There's no minion damage on Spiritual Aid.
Oh.
This is small nerf.
I missed that.
Yeah. It's
Dude.
Oh, yes.
It's a small nerf. It's very small. It doesn't matter. But what
Nah,
Spiritual Aid does is that it all increases and reductions to minion damage also affect you. So the 60% increased minion damage from Necromancer just becomes any. And then, that plus Elemental Overload, it's a very, very nice way of scaling it.
Dude, I've missed so many nerfs on the passive tree. Oh my god.
There's a lot of things happening.
They're so sneaky, dude. They're so sneaky.
But like Path of Exile and always being up to date, like it's incredibly hard. Even knowing everything in this game and then being like remembering everything. So like I was talking about beginner tips the other day, and Gucci, who is one of the best players in the game, came in and was like, "Holy shit, really? I didn't know that." I can't remember what it was, but the fact that like players that are like that like competent still like finding out new things talks a little bit about Path of Exile.
Yeah. On the note of the jewels, by the way, they're trying to basically change up. So the idea behind the, what do you call them? The jewels, the gem specific jewels,
Threshold jewels.
Threshold jewels. The idea behind the threshold jewels in the beginning was that you started with a basic skill, and then it changed into a more advanced skill that people can use. So they've kind of gone away from that, and now they're the threshold jewels that a lot of people talked about back then that they wanted to be is that they changed the play style of the skill instead, so that you can either play it the way that you get it first, or you can completely change it, which is what you're doing with the fireball. Because normally with the ignite, right, you would have one single hit, but when you change it to scorch, you really want to spam it for like those like a lot of fireballs in a row. Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty cool. And that we just, for anyone looking for like a new skill to play, like look at the threshold juice. There might be something else there.
Yeah, they did something with Magma Orb, and what else was it? It was Dual Strike's got some weird stuff too.
Yeah,
they're definitely trying to reinvent them.
Magma Orb is all about hitting the enemies with this at the end of a chain, right? So let's say you put 8 chains on your Magma Orb. You want to hit it on the 7th, 8th, 9th chain for like a massive damage increase. So you want to like stand far away and see if you can like bounce the balls, and so they just hit at the end.
There is
So that's
So
like
it's
a very different playstyle.
Yeah, they're trying to shift playstyle rather than just make it mandatory, like +2 projectiles. Yeah, I get what they're trying to do.
there is a new
Just depends if those builds are
teaser.
good or not, right? Like if like
I mean,
Magball,
Fireball?
yeah, Fireball's definitely going to be solid, but that one is just more damage, right? It makes a little bit more sense. It's still a big shift, but we understand what it's trying to do. Something
Sure.
like Molten Strike is a weird one. I don't know. I don't even know if I can explain the Molten Strike one because I still don't even understand it.
Let's see. Oh,
I mean, Molten Strike, isn't it just turning it into? It's basically turning it into Magmorb, right?
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Something
Yeah,
that mutes me sometimes. I'm not 100% sure what I click, but I have a hotkey that mutes me. But there is a new teaser from Path of Exile. You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, now
Okay,
yeah.
sweet. I'm going to show it on stream real quick. This should show it. Emperor's Vigilance Steel Kite Shield. So it's 600 armor, 126 energy shield with no quality, 26 chance to block, 18% chance to block spell damage, loads of percentage increased armor and energy shield, 12 max life, cannot block while you have no energy shield, damage from blocked hits cannot bypass energy shield, damage from unblocked hits always bypass energy shield, and you have glancing blows.
Huh.
Very interesting.
Okay. So
that is really nice with things like Soul Tether and having like a nice hybrid as well.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool shield. 12% life. I mean, I do wish I had like, if I had like 60 flat life as well, or 50, it would be like super tier 1, but
I mean, it already has
it's really
tons
nice.
of armor and energy shield on top.
It's really nice.
Pretty good.
God.
It's got badass head too.
Yeah.
It looks very cool.
That's
Looks
cool.
extremely cool. I really want them to add, I've been asking for this for 4 years. I really want them to add like a thing that I can buy. I don't care if it's $10, $20, $30, whatever they feel is fair, that will destroy an item in Path of Exile and turn it into a permanent microtransaction. So I can do things. So instead of like having it in that league, I can go buy it on standard, like maybe a Mjolnir, maybe a Brass Dome, maybe an Ivory Tower. Because sometimes Ivory Tower and Brass Dome is really expensive. I don't want to waste like an 8x item just to look cool. I'll have to like buy it on standard and break it into a permanent MTX. It's free money. You will already have the code from the other like transfer MTX thing. Feels bad. I want that. This one looks like great for that. It's and for actual usage.
That's really good art.
It's a so cool item. But like it's a cool item to use.
Wrap my head around the item now. How I would use it.
100% looks like something I would want to use with either the Doriani Timeless Jewel, so I have like a decent amount of energy shield, and like Soul Tether and stuff like that. So like hybrid builds.
So I'm just looking at the lore, like the lore text for this. I wonder if there's a chance this is supposed to be from Uber Lab. Because shit, this is like the lab guy, right?
You're right. Very nice spot. And it's called Emperor's Vigilance. Yeah, this could be a unique from the new lab.
Oh.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, I think you're right.
Ah. Cool.
5-head, dude. Actual
Wait, you talking about Noogie, right? Me 5-head? No, me 2-head.
No.
2-header.
I can't even read.
Hey, that's me. Don't take that away from me.
Well, I'm getting old.
Oh, that's true. You're like 42. It's like very, very interesting. Like the difference in like PoE streamers' age. Like Rise QT is 23. You're 43. It's a very, very like.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see like young and old come together.
Yeah, that's nice. But it looks really cool. It looks really cool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I could see myself using it. Even it actually wouldn't be a bad item in like Spellslinger builds. It does save you quite a lot of points.
Oh yeah, no. I mean,
what
I mean, it has 18 spell block chance on there.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah,
because that basically caps you with like a little tiny. Yeah,
there's not a bad stat on there. That's
Dude,
That's
this is
really
the
good.
shield you use if you don't want to play Necromancer.
Well, even on Necro, you put this on and Bone Offering, boom. You no more investment needed. This shield plus Bone Offering and your block up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? You get, how much spell block do you get from Bone Offering? Is it 30?
2 seconds.
Something like that. I think it starts at like 25, then it goes up to like around 30 on both. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, super easy.
I want to play this like a Pathfinder. You get this thing because you can't get over to the other side. They put like a roomies and I'm capped.
Yeah.
Done.
Very, very cool. But let's continue talking about League starters. I think that is a good topic to continue with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Steel, do you want to go first and leak your League starter?
Oh, well, actually, because I know we're going to talk about VD Spellslinger a lot anyway, how about we talk about something different? So I was testing this before.
Uh-huh.
This is not necessarily something I'll play, because I'm probably going to play VD, right? We're going to probably talk about that more. But what do you guys think about Chaos Bow? Because I know you guys were shitting all over Ranger 2 seconds ago. But I still think Chaos Bow is decent. Like, I think a lot of people will start with it.
Yeah.
Essence
Drain and a lot of like Chaos Slingers. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've seen... Now, I had no faith in these Chaos attack builds in the past, but my mind has been changed. I've seen Garatha and Havoc and all that. I've seen these boys pull out some crazy times, and I've seen the potential thanks to Arrow Nova. These Chaos builds are actually very zoomy, very, they don't require a lot of gear. And the only problem is defense. But I don't think... Did Ranger actually lose much defense?
Pathfinder, right?
Yeah, Pathfinder is what I was thinking.
Yeah, so that's generally like very good. Mitigation, at least, is generally very good. It's more like recovering your life that's always the problem. But now you just Endure and Cry. Like for this league, just Endure and Cry.
Right. But then you've got Wind Dancer as well, on top of... like if you do... I guess you're kind of forced to go Dodge now that VMS is gutted, but you go Acrobatics, but maybe Blind, Evasion, Wind Dancer. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Yeah. Something that I didn't have a lot of faith in, particularly to do with Chaos, was Chaos Spellslingers. I felt like there was so much anti-synergy, and I know that it doesn't hold up that hard like later on, but I felt like there was so much anti-synergy with like, well, you're using all your mana to reserve the Spellslingers, so you can't do Malevolence, and then there's no benefit from being Spellslinger because you don't get anything from the flat added, right? So I was like, there's so much anti-synergy here, but like just having the ability to cast the Cats and Essence Drain and Contagion, it looks really solid. Like I've seen it. Somebody was saying that it doesn't hold up so much like in red maps, but that early on is so speedy. And I think that's gonna be a lot faster than what I would league start with. But for me personally, like something you're comfortable with, like there's nothing that really beats that for hardcore, like comfort level.
Spellslinger, you mean?
Yeah, well, like, so for example, I've already played like five or six Volatile Dead Spellslingers. So I know exactly what that can do. Or I actually quite like leveling with like Arc and Bull Lightning. So I know exactly what that can do for leveling.
Yeah. Now, Chaos Bling is actually really good. It goes to show you, actually, because you were saying there's a lot of anti-synergy. It goes to show you how powerful it is to automate ED Contagion.
Yeah.
Right? And then obviously, it has some synergy with Sovereign because of the cast time. Yeah. So if you haven't seen that build before, I wish you could bring up footage because it's actually a really fun build.
I can.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do that because it's a very, 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 very zoomy build, and it's a beautiful. It's really enjoyable to play. The ED keeps you topped up thanks to the life regen. Sovereign will give you ES regen, although that's not going to really do anything. But it's one of the fastest builds you can play at League Start. And if you've wanted to level ED Contagion, well, if you wanted to play ED Contagion, but you never wanted to level ED Contagion because it's a bit of a nightmare, that solves that problem. That gives you that bridge to go from Spellslinger Chaos into self-cast ED Contagion, which is a fantastic endgame build. but it's clunky at those early stages.
I'm now going to steal some content from a really, really
Talked a lot to
talented
Havoc,
stream.
by the way, our good old method friend.
Wait, am I unmuted now?
Yes.
God damn it! I clicked something that mutes me for Discord. It's really annoying. I am now going to show some like quick footage by another really, really good streamer. I was wondering why you guys were ignoring me, but it's because I accidentally mute on Discord, and not for a stream. But yeah, I'm going to show.
No, he's not muted.
Tai Killer playing some Chaos Slinger. This is just in the middle of the run, but you can see it in the background. Let me do some more quality. Sorry, carry on.
Okay, right. So talk to him about planning out your power spikes. And I think that leads in well with going for something like this Spellslinger ED, because I think people tend to say, okay, I want to play this powerful build and it's going to carry me all the way. Like I started the moment I go into my first map, that's when I start my build, right? And I carry that through all the way to the end. But it is okay to have something that is less powerful and use it to its full potential, maybe farming in yellow maps. Build up all that gear. Don't progress. Just build up all that power because you're like twice as fast. So you can accumulate twice as much currency. You could accumulate like, twice as fast you level and all that. And then you just respec because you have all these regrets sitting. You're higher level. You've done all the quests. Everything's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a very valid strategy. We used this in the China event recently. The exact same thing. We'd play a build to respec into something else. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, if you're not planning to get into red maps, this is just a fun build from.
Yeah, it looks a
lot
lot better than I would have given it credit for as well. And it's just since I don't have time now to like practice before the league goes live, and I don't want to do something and then have to like think about what I'm gonna do when there's another build that's just slightly slower that I already know everything. But this definitely looks like awesome to level with.
Yeah.
It's very pretty too.
Yeah, especially with MTX. That's great.
One of the things that make builds very, very strong is once you start adding in all those links. So early on, you don't have like 5 and 6 links, right?
Yeah.
You have 4 links. So how do you do it? Like you just add in more skills. So
Yeah.
how do you add in more skills and then take advantage of them? Well, you cast them all at the same time. So that's why like this ends up actually doing good damage because you end up having like 4 skills at the same time being put on the same target.
Yeah.
Rather than just 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, Spellslinger is uniquely strong for leveling because of that, because it doesn't require a tabula.
Yeah. Yeah, which is so nice. And that's why whenever I am playing a Spellslinger, I just go straight to maps. And then I start farming wild side areas for 6ing instead.
Come to think of it, it makes sense why Tai is practicing so much Spellslinger, because he does not like tabula.
Yeah.
True.
That's true. Oh, yeah. Wow. He hates it. Ah.
My melee build is like looking like with that in mind, my melee build is getting better and better.
That's a really good
I'm
one.
gonna be running General Cry, my Earthquake, my what's it called? My 3-link Totem. Dude, I'm gonna have like 4 skills.
Yeah.
All pouncing. It's gonna be great.
For sure.
No need for a 6-link.
So that's what you were saying is your league starter?
No,
yeah.
that's
100%. Do you want me to talk about my?
Yeah. Talk about your league starter.
Go for it, Nugi.
My league starter. So I don't know what skill I'm going with yet. There's a lot of unknowns. It kind of annoys me that I don't know. I don't know whether or not exerts work with Vol skills, for instance. So we do know that exerts combine together. So like you can intimidate plus seismic, and they both have like multipliers. So you multiplier the multiplier. And then if it works with Vol skills, imagine Vol Ground Slam is like a 300 damage effectiveness plus 50% more damage. That would be insane.
Yeah, it sounds really good.
It's really hard to like find the right shell because am I going to use just 1 Warcry or am I going to use 3? I think I kind of want to use 3. Because rotating all the Warcries is really cool, right? You charge up and then you blow up the screen.
I mean, you'd hope GGG have given you the tools to do that, right?
Yes. My only concern is that I don't think there's enough Warcry speed on the tree. Because we went from having Warcries with like 250 MS. Now with like all the nodes, it's like 320. So they're slower than they were already. And you have to cast multiple of them.
I can just tell you now, having tried non-instant Warcries in Delve, it's a problem. It interrupts the flow of gameplay, having to cast Warcries. So
having played Warcries without instant many times, I don't mind it.
I feel like Steel's face there was just sitting there thinking like me clicky one button good when you were talking about your active playstyle there.
Well, here's the thing.
Playstyle.
So less thinky, less risky.
Less thinky, less funny.
Well, I have to have one hand on my logout macro at all times, Nugi. It's hard.
Sure. I mean, there's definitely a playstyle choice here, and there's no doubt that the spell slinger stuff will probably come out ahead. You know, even everything being equal, let's say that they could actually do the same thing. Having to think definitely does take away, because especially when you get tired, it gets harder. Do all the things right. There's no doubt, but I'm okay with that, and that's why I'm going to have a lot of fun with this.
I think it'll be fun.
When I stack all these things together, come in with a double damage, I go to the boss and I just like, where did it go? Like, that's my dream. I think it can happen. I don't think it's like you have like these really slow new weapons. Like if I can get like a Murky, like 7 link, like 1,000 average damage or whatever, stack that all up. Oh man, and then you have all the stun reduction like, with the new stun. What's it called? The new stun things. Like it's easier to stun now, right? You basically will always stun. So you come in, load up, stun, hit the 3-4 exerts. Now he's unstunned. You go out, go away. You cry a little bit, in the corner, and now you're ready to go again, and he can be stunned again.
I feel like I would love watching a discussion between you and Quinn about builds. I think it'd just be really amusing for me.
I will say this. I think there are some strong builds there. I think they're hard to spot right now, and I think
a lot of strength.
I think the clunkiness will be unappealing to players. That's the sad part, but I think there is a lot of power there, and I do think that even now, 2-hand builds right now, as much as people meme about it, are not as weak as people let on to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, no, I agree. Honestly, it sounds like a cool boss killer. Some of the things that I was honestly like, a part of me kind of wanted spells to be a little bit just obliterated this league, just so we could have one league of really feeling good to play melee, I guess, and just like 2-handers and Warcries being like, okay, they're going to be really OP this league. So I was hoping to do either like a Berserker Earthquake or something that I really want to play, and I was considering this as my league starter. Dominating Blow is something that I was like, as soon as I saw Rallying Cry, I was like, this looks bonkers for both like anime weapon and Rallying Cry. And like, another PoE streamer, if you don't know him, it's called Baylor Mage. I'll show it on stream now. He like plays these builds a lot, has some cool guides for him. I might like team up for him and make some like extra spicy league starters, because I have a lot of cool ideas with it. I want to make sure I get so good like opinions from somebody that has played it a lot as well. But this now with Rallying Cry giving like a shit ton of flat fist based on your weapon, even on like a decent one-hander, this should be like a crazy amount of flat fist. Now obviously like the Herald of Purity part has been nerfed a little bit with the cluster duels, but this like I played around with it a little bit as well, and I've tried it, and also it feels and looks very similar to anime weapon, where you like, when you get to the boss, you convocate all your minions, get on top of you, and the boss just like brrrr, gone.
How's their AI, like the minions?
Once you get, so I didn't get to play it a lot. I made like a new character and went to like level 70, and once you get feeding frenzy and stuff and a decent amount of minion speed, they're pretty cool. They definitely do need feeding frenzy, because then they start charging.
Okay.
I quite like it. I did it all the way up to like the first Conquerors. Like I made a new account just so I could get like Conquerors and stuff. And on completely SSF gear, it was just perma standard, obviously, no league mechanics or anything. It was pretty fun. It was pretty great to play. I think with Rallying Cry being buffed so much, something that's going to be one of the stronger builds. I could see this being my boss killer this league.
Sure.
It's something that, for example, like Gluttony of Elements, like the immunity to elemental damage amulet, is something I would definitely want.
Stacking some duration, I guess.
Yeah, and I'll link it in chat. I linked Titus earlier as well, and then I linked this one too.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of sad they nerfed it, but like they nerfed the cluster jewel stuff because I felt like that was a lot of in-game scaling. But I guess, like you said, Rallying Cry, in a way, it's kind of a buff for early game because you're not going to have the cluster jewels at the beginning anyway. So hopefully it's strong still.
Yeah. I really wonder how the math is going to be, but it's like, was it 40%? Because the buff is doubled for your minions, so I think it was 40% of your
weapon damage.
of weapon damage is going to be added to your minions. Like that must be insane on slower weapons like Mario or Airkey, if you're using two-handers, and pretty decent on things like the Scourge or one-handers.
I have a feeling that we're gonna see that.
And that's before buff effect. Yeah, sorry.
Right. I have a feeling that what's gonna come out on top is anything that can get a shield, because summons and glancing blows it's just so much defense, and then you'll have like that really slow one-hander, and you just slap like trigger socketed gems on there.
Yeah,
I would think that would come out on top. I want to see like the real hybrid builds where you fight with your enemies with dominating blow. That's what I really want to see.
Well, I did that for the entire leveling process. Like I was using dominating blow to fight.
Did you feel like you had an impact in that, like playing with it?
Yeah, especially on bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah, because early on, because I'd never played it before, and that's why I messaged Baylor and I was like, hey, you want to talk? Because you've like played this build a lot, right? So I feel like that helps a lot to just get some tips. And I was playing it kind of wrong. And in the start, I was using a two-hander. And he was like, well, especially during leveling, it is a lot better with like a one-hander with high attack speed. But yeah, no, even two-hander, then you felt like more impactful because you had more damage. And yeah, I was killing things. Like it's a melee skill supported with melee support gems. So
how does the new claw, like the Scourge, like how does that actually yeah, how does that impact the build overall?
Well, you will do more damage yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you normally path over to the minion nodes anyways, or do you just actually stay away from that whole cluster?
I did. I was there. But I don't know about endgame because I leveled to, I think I leveled to like level 76. I killed 3 conquerors. And I hadn't even like socketed my Herald of Purity properly, but I was still like one-shotting the conquerors. It was just like,
I guess you still want max army and redemption.
Yeah.
Just the spiritual aid, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Probably. But that's a build I think will be really cool this league. But obviously not everybody loves things that are similar to summoners. But very, very fun to play.
Yeah, they've got a bad rep the last couple of leagues, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been really weak, dude. Summoners just very weak.
No. Well, yeah.
You talking about Domblow or?
Well, Domblow was very strong last league already, and now it's been buffed.
Yeah. Also, Herald of Purity. Speaking of Herald of Purity, rip Facebreaker.
I mean, it'll still be fine for like leveling. It's more of an end game, like it's not end game viable anymore. And that's sort of in line with the rest of their unique nerfs, because they seem to like hate wanting uniques for end game.
From Herald of Purity.
I hope Facebreakers are still good, dude.
They'll be fine for leveling in early game, 100%.
I mean, end game too, though.
But yeah, no, for end game they're kind of fucked.
Yeah,
and it's kind of sad because there's no craftier equivalent Facebreaker.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what happened, the Flat Fizz was removed from Herald of Purity, which is obviously a huge blow to Facebreakers. And then the Purity Rings was nerfed on top of that. And normally it was very, very common to use double Herald of Purity Rings and Herald of Purity on Facebreaker builds.
Yeah, like if you wanted to scale that build endgame, you'd even go as far as to use a plus gem item and then empower, and you'd have a very high level Purity, and that's how you got big damage, right? That's how you scaled it into true endgame. where you would just like spin and kill a boss instantly. So that scaling's gone, removed completely. There's no, yeah, that's just gone.
Yep. It is. Well, I mean, for softcore, there's Hollow Palm, which is still going to be good.
Yeah.
Well, that also got. Well, I mean, for some people, nerf. I think did people go with the split personality for Hollow Palm? Do you know if they actually stacked decks to that degree? Because
Like the ones I
Didn't
saw.
play it.
Okay, so people saying yes, right? So, split personality was a cluster duel that the further away from your starting point it gave you more and more stats. So people would stack those as far away from their starting point, and just get like tons of decks, life, int, strength, whatever the build needed. So those only stacked to 2.
Limited to 2. I'm surprised they limited that to 2 and didn't do anything to voices, because for every build I did lastly, I was like, man, it sure would be great to have a voices in this build. In like every cluster. Like it's pretty much best in slot for like every build.
Right.
So very surprised it's not limited to even 1.
I could
Well,
see yeah.
they did limit it to 1 because you're only going to drop 1 the entire league if you're lucky.
Except unless your name is fucking Steelmage, and they're like, oh, I can't believe it! My 13th voices!
We almost got double digits. We got 9.
I had 0, and I did a lot. I think I did... I can't remember now. I did like 90 or 93.
I did like 50, maybe?
Right.
No, you did more.
You must
No
have
way.
done more.
I don't know.
You,
I must have done more.
I did a shit
I
ton, but
definitely
you
didn't.
felt...
I definitely didn't do as many as you, and I got 9.
I got so many, and I didn't get 1.
Just be lucky, lol.
Are you sure you don't mean you dropped 50?
I don't know, dude. I lost track of the voices. I dropped too many. Should we talk about Minor then? Because Minor received some pretty significant nerfs actually to crit multi. So obviously crit multi across the board was nerfed, but in particular, Minor got hit pretty bad. I think it's like 40 crit multi or something, which doesn't sound too bad, but that's you had that baseline like by level like 70 or 80 if you took the crit nodes. So, do you think this will make it a little less like? So, if you're unaware, League Starter, you would often see minors rank 1, right? They would dominate. These builds are extreme. They have extreme damage at early levels. They were the highest DPS build you could play day 1, pretty much. Do you think that will change, or do you think it's still going to be the powerhouse? Like, would you expect to see Crying rank 1, or?
Honestly, I have no idea on mine, so I'll let you guys take this one. Like, it's not something I play a lot. It fucks my hands too much.
Fair enough.
I think their damage was overkill so many times anyways. I don't think they're going to be... I mean, it's going to hurt them a little bit, but... For the people who already play in mines, they're still going to play mines. It's just so strong early on. I mean, I saw people doing like test runs on their minor builds, going to like rushing T16s on a 3-link. You know, falling is perfectly fine. It's crazy. It's just so much damage. And even with Ball Lightning being nerfed, so they nerfed, or they gave regular, like just Ball Lightning, they gave more damage. And then they nerfed slower approach. But between the fact that you don't actually need slower approach to hit all 13 ticks and them being buffed, I don't think it's probably gonna nerf their single target by a bit. Not too significantly.
Yeah, it should feel better for mapping, I guess.
Yeah, they're gonna clear faster now. Just straight up.
Did you guys play one last league?
No, not last league.
I played a lot of Minor in the past, so yeah, I skipped it this league, but I have played a lot of Minor before.
Nice. Another league starter I want to ask you about actually is Steelmage. We did a bleed bow build guide together, and a lot of people have been asking about that. That should still be completely fine, right?
Other than the VMS nerf, which is significant, that's actually pretty bad. Although it's still good because it's still got a decent chunk of armor, but yeah, other than the VMS nerf, that should be fine. I don't think they actually did nerf Impale, but I don't think they touched Bleed too much, other than Bloodletting. Don't think it's...
Yeah, no, Bleed is largely unaffected.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess Solid Steel as well. Yeah,
Okay, since you guys made the build, does it have like life regen problems?
Yeah.
Outside of maybe Enduring Cry? Could be coming in big here.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe. Well, I don't see what else you'd use the cries for. So yeah. And you're right next to the instant war cry as well.
Yeah.
You know, you literally go there. It's like
and you want endurance charge generation. So
did you guys see it that it has a minimum endurance charge as well, so you can spam it up outside. You don't even need to be near the boss. You can just be right outside, spam it up, and have them ready, full endurance charges.
And what that means as well, especially for players that are very, very uncomfortable in lab and get stuck, and then maybe sometimes without life flasks. Well, you have a permanent life flask in your Enduring Cry now. Bring Enduring Cry in lab, and you'll never die to traps again. Even if you're self-casting it with no investment, it's gonna help players a lot in lab. Like, it's way better than Stone Golem.
Yeah.
If you're in Mercy Lab with, say, 2.5k life, you run over a trap, but the level of Enduring Cry will always outscale any kind of trap that hits you.
Yep.
You'll be fully healed, and then you'll have endurance charge as well, so you're gonna take less damage.
Steel is still gonna run his fucking golem.
Maybe.
I hate golems.
Yeah, they kind of betrayed me one time, a few times, maybe several.
Yeah, I've died to minions or my own things too much.
Yeah.
Trying to think what other like good recommendations. Obviously, like I am making a Volatile Dead Spellslinger guide, and I kind of want to try to make a Fireball Spellslinger guide. The Volatile Dead is like already finished recording. It's being edited at the moment and will be YouTube upload definitely before they start, and I'll be like doing 3 more. I also really want to recommend like something like Berserker, Warcry, Earthquake, and I want to play that this league.
I think it'll be powerful. I think I think the Warbringer is something people should try and like play around. I think that will be very strong and powerful. I mean, you can still players can still go without the what's it called? With all these buffs to two-handers and everything, without going like fully into Warcry, you can still do like fast attacks as well. Just have like stronger two-handers. Play around.
Yeah, for sure. Like even though slower ones are being buffed so much, that doesn't mean that fast and going for a speed thing is going to be trash.
And anyone who wanted to play Earthquake as well early on will be glad to hear that there are now reduced skill effect duration nodes on the tree. Which is
that's huge. It's massive.
Said that was required to play Earthquake in the first place with the helmet, and it felt bad without it. So now you can pick up the 3 nodes on the tree, and it's basically that.
And I've seen a lot of people talking about like brands and stuff. I'm really worried about making like a starter build guide for something like that, because I'm a little bit worried that it's going to turn out similar to how Explosive Arrow turned out one league. I think it was Metamorph, where like it looked really good on paper, and when we were POBing it, everyone's like, "Oh, Explosive Arrow is going to be awesome." And then I remember there was, and obviously I did say in the video like, "Hey, this is experimental. We don't know if this is going to be good until you try it." It was like, it was bugged as well, but it was also just not as good. And I remember, I'm never going to forget, there was one comment on my Explosive Arrow guide, and he said that I tried Zizaran's Explosive Arrow build, and it ruined Path of Exile for me. It was the worst league start I've ever had, and I was so sad reading it. I was so sad.
Feels bad, man.
Because even though I tried being very open, like, hey, I don't know if this is going to be good, but it was just, like, you saw even like advanced players that are really good at the game, like Rise QT and stuff, that would generally always know what to like fix with like when something's wrong. He was still struggling, right? Like it was just hard to make it feel good that league. So the fact that like good players were struggling with it, like imagine that as a player that don't know. Sorry, Rise.
So Ziz, I have a confession to make. I was the guy commenting on your YouTube.
That makes sense now, dude.
Yeah, it was a rough league start. It was it is the slowest, the hardest, the most frustrating league start I've had in 7 years of playing PoE.
Yeah. So I honestly, I think brands like might be decent. It's definitely something I would risk as a league starter when trying to like do anything competitively. I haven't decided which we can have as the next. Actually, this is a great way to segue into the event. There's an Alienware race. And for those of you who don't know, it's something about killing one of the new harvest bosses or all of them. I can't remember the exact thing, but there is an Alienware laptop up for grabs. One for whoever is the first to do it on Soul, Self, and Hardcore, and then there's also a raffle to do it on like Softcore or any other league, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm always down for stuff like that. It's been many, many years since I've done something like this. I remember it fondly. Back in 2.0. So, was it actually 2.0? Was it really that long ago? It was, wasn't it?
Was that the Malachi?
Yeah, so they did Malachi, first to kill Malachi in Merciless, so that was like the new boss of the act, right? Of Act 4. New, right? This is a long time ago. And then there was first 100 gets a laptop as well, and that's gets a Alienware thing, which
did you hit
got that one? We did.
Was that?
But I felt that was I actually did that solo.
Oh?
It wasn't Trade League, but I did do that one solo. There's no shenanigans going on. But I remember feeling guilty because I didn't stream or anything at the time. Or I didn't have Twitter, and I didn't do any of this, right?
Right.
So I just I felt like I just came in and yoinked this event thing and just walked away.
I mean, you win. Why shouldn't you?
Yeah,
dude. Now it's cool to see that they're doing more stuff like this.
Yeah, I definitely want more events. So that's pretty cool. I haven't fully decided if I'm going for the 100 race or the boss the boss with the laptop. Like something that I've been thinking. They say that anyone can enter the raffle on Harvest, Harvest Soul Self-Fun, Harvest Hardcore Soul Self-Fun, and Harvest Hardcore if you kill it within the first week. So the fact that the raffle is only open for a week makes me think that it's not going to be at least as difficult as the Awakener. Like, I definitely think that it's going to be easier. Like, I might be wrong here. This is just a random guess. And that makes me a little bit less excited for it. Obviously, it's not like a huge expansion boss, so it's probably easier.
Yeah. Definitely getting some Ziri level vibes. For sure. Yeah, which I think it would have been cool as well if they could have done a if anyone kills it, or maybe the top X amount of people kill it, they get an MTX, because I like that from the Ziri when Ziri was released. If you guys remember, that's Mathel was the first person to kill it, I believe, with his Buzzsaw build. That was like the origin of Mathel, if you guys remember, back in the day. Yeah. So I think that would have been cool, but yeah, it's still neat.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like, definitely they want them to do more stuff like this and push more community events. So that's really cool. So Steel, are you going for 100 or the laptop or both?
So I'm probably gonna do both. So I like the 100 push. It's the reason I come back every league. It's really, you know, that's what I enjoy doing. Obviously I'll make exceptions for big boss kill events like the Awakener event, but I think this is something I'm hoping. This is my theory. I think you're going to require a ton of seeds, and you're going to have to grow and regrow and regrow and regrow and regrow and keep harvesting, right? So I think that's going to lead towards mapping anyway. So I'm hoping I can do both. But obviously, if somebody tryhards, right? If somebody from chat just goes for it, or Quinn or something, right? If they just go for it, if that's their only goal, I don't know if I'd beat them. Because I am going to prioritize 100.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I think I'm pretty much in the same boat. Although I'd be pretty disappointed if I walk in and get one shot. So I don't know. I'm very much in like a 100 push mood, I feel. Yeah.
So am I.
Yeah?
But I can't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have shoulder issues at the moment.
Yeah.
That's not
So
good.
I'm probably gonna do the whole harvest and gardening thing. Because it's gonna give me like some natural breaks where I can just kinda like, you know, do the little gardening thing without having to like zoom through the maps and put the thing in and always click. So I think that'll be nice. So that might give me a little bit of that rest I need, while not being able to like play as much or play as fast. Hopefully, I'll give it a go at least. I do think that is actually where melee has a chance.
right for bossing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strong.
That'd be neat.
Man.
That'd be awesome to see. One of the first kills to be done on two-hand melee.
That would be
GGG would be
nice.
very happy with that.
Just see like a big slam from Nugi. Like Nugi like walks up to the boss 4 or 5 or fucking he somehow found new war cries. He's just standing there for like 10 seconds like ah! And he just like what slam one shots the boss, dude.
Yeah, that'd be neat.
Did you see Shockwave got buffed as well? 4 charges?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Something
cool.
as well that's cool about this league, about the fact that they have these endgame bosses. Previous leagues, specifically something like Blight, if you guys remember, felt like it was missing an endgame boss.
100%.
Yeah, true.
So I think they've actually taken note of that, and they've pushed for this to be a thing. So I'm really glad that this is a thing.
Blight was the worst experience I've ever had in Path of Exile. I've never played so little, and like obviously this is my job, and I've never played so little. I think I played 800 hours of Blight, or 700 or something. I hated it. Everything about it. It was fucking horrible.
Sometimes you have to make your own fun, Ziz. Sometimes you have to make your own
Well, I
fun.
didn't manage to do that this day.
A bit of an aside there, or like so I was in the same boat, and even playing like a build I was looking forward to, I couldn't have fun. I had more fun in Metamorph playing EA, struggling as much as I've ever struggled before than Blight.
Metamorph was so fun.
It was actually really fun.
Not so much just the league itself, but just like the balance changes and the new like conquerors and everything. I've never played so much off stream before. Even very early in the league, like I'd say a week and a half in. I remember very early I would start farming off stream, and I always make sure to record, because even if you're an SSF, some like random dude is gonna go like, oh, somebody gave you that off stream. It's like, I'm an SSF. But like other than that, like I always record just in case I find a mirror or something. Or if I die. But yeah, no, I very, very early on, even when I was still like streaming 14 to 16 hours, I would do like 2 hours or 4 hours off stream of just like farming beach. It's just so relaxing. It's so nice. Just like tier 1 map farming with a fast build. Especially with Impulsa. So nice.
I've been coming back to that, I would say, after Metamorph. I've been falling back into that pattern. Playing off stream. I think before like ExileCon and everything, I feel like something changed also in their design and like the way they crafted the leagues. And I think especially after they did the Masters stacking up as missions you could run whenever, that helped me a lot. Because then I could like do like a round of like a certain master like off screen. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna like do a few Sanas, maybe get some of those what's it called?
Yeah.
Maybe stack up some fragments or something for the next day.
They do make you like, that's what I was talking about earlier. Obviously their intent behind that is you don't have to do those master missions, but you wanna, right? So yeah, no,
the master like all the master changes and the player agency they've given us there feels really good. I think it's amazing. Feels like, I always feel like, especially with best tier and stuff, I feel like, oh, you know, I have to use the white ones in tier 5, have to use the yellow ones in tier 10s. A little bit like that, but still, I really like it.
So the final boss here with the whole event, I mean, there are tier, so we've seen, so when do the bosses start spawning? Is that tier 4? Tier 3.
It looks like tier 4 based on the seeds. So it looks like the tier 4 seeds will lead into the final boss somehow, but we don't know how.
But there's like multiple bosses to do through that as well, right? So we'll have to, because we have seen some bosses that cannot, like the rolling crab thing cannot be the final boss, for instance. So there has to be like bosses leading into a more like a final boss.
I just hope it's not another delve.
What do you mean?
I mean, the last 2 leagues I didn't see Owl. Like, I don't delve as much as you, but I go down to 83, and then I'll use like 100, maybe 200,000 sulfite coin, right? Or whatever. I'm not sure how much, but I'll delve a decent amount, and I haven't seen an Owl in 2 leagues.
Do you want to hear something messed up? So, in the China event, I could not find the
Yeah.
flower boss.
Yeah.
No matter, I spent a
Mm.
very long time. I spent all my
Damn.
everything, all the juice. Right, could not find it. Lost the race over that. Come back to SSF Hardcore in the main realm.
Oh no.
4 alls on the screen. 4 alls.
Oh, that's beauty right there. I love that.
Yeah.
Actually, someone made a good point. It's probably all the different bosses. And like all the different seeds, right? So you do all the different flowers. One of each. So there's probably a boss at the end of each. And then you put all those together. You know when you put all the colors together, you get black. Maybe it's a black lotus.
Oh, that'd be so cool because of Chris
That'd be
Wilson,
awesome,
Magic
yeah.
the Gathering. That'd be so cool. You guys are so 5-head. That's it. You cracked it. That would be so Chris. He has like 5 black lotuses. That's so meta.
You know, I mean, I can see that. The beautiful black flower finally
That's
bloomed.
so cool. I hope they've done that. Maybe Chris is like watching and going like, oh, missed opportunity. But yeah, that'd be really cool. That would be pretty cool. I am very, very excited for Harvest, like, and everything, the patch notes, everything, just because it's a new reset and there are some things changing. I think that's pretty much everything. Like, regardless of what specifically they do, what builds are going to be good, I love the reset and I love any new content.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we can complain that we're going to be beta testing the league for the next 2 weeks, that 3-month patch cycle does get us back every single time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, most of us, some of us.
Yep.
Me.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that was some solid topics, and I think we can end here. I think that's a good spot to end on, unless any of you have anything else you really want to bring up.
That's good.
Why do you hate melee?
First, I want to give a big thank you to the most important person that joined us today. Chat, thank you for being here and keeping us company while we were either ranting or complaining or praising
Taking down
GGG
notes
on various things. So thanks so much. Good job, chat. You're beautiful. Yeah. Nugi, where can we find more of your channel?
On Nugiyen. Not to be confused with the beautiful emote, Nugiyen. Wait, hold on. This is the same thing. Don't use it. It highlights me. Wait, no, I shouldn't say that. Yeah, Nugiyen on Twitch. I'm online every day from like 1 p.m.
Oh. I didn't even realize that's your emote name for it. That's amazing. Glorious. I'm getting a farm emote too. And Steelmage, where can we find more of you?
Twitch TV/Steelmage, but you'll never see me on it this time because this is an ungodly hour for me. I'm not going to be awake normally at this time.
Except for League Start.
Except for League Start this weekend. Yep.
Awesome. 2 of the bestest streamers you'll ever find. Definitely go check them out. And my name is Zizaran. I'll see you guys for Harvest. Good luck, everyone. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.